beating drums, and surely to God there is a plan B.
The fireworks reminded me of Rickenbacker with the Wrangler ad when he let off the blue smoke in the blue sky. So the fireworks display was a bit like that down there earlier.
Well, I'll tell you, the fireworks, Joe Bradley, are going to begin in, what is it now, about 25 minutes' time when Cork and Kerry take to the field, or at least when the ball is thrown in at any stage. What do you think?
It's key. I think the key thing is for Cork to hold Kerry's tail, because nobody accelerates as quickly out of the blocks as that Kerry team. And you know, for example, in 2005 against Tyrone, I think they were 1-3 to a point up after 7 minutes, and Tyrone had to start reeling them in. But you know, 5 points when you're only 6-7 minutes in, and that's the sort of start that would be a disaster for Cork. Cork need to start well, get ahead, because there's no doubt that there'll be a lot of nerves. 3 or 4 of their players had an absolute disaster the last time that they were here. That'll be in their minds. So I think the start of the game is vital.
Will it be in their minds, Colin?
Certainly is. It's a huge barrier for Cork to overcome the fact that they can beat Kerry all the like down in Munster, but every time they come to Croke Park, it's always the same result: Kerry win. Like, we have seen the emergence of a real third force in Cork this year. They are a super team. They will win on All Ireland. They will win it very soon. I'm just not convinced they will be today.
You see, that can work the other way as well, Pat Spillane. You know, there's a kind of a notion out there amongst a lot of people that these lads will go on waving Kerry jerseys and the Cork fellas will all faint and fall down.
Well, on the evidence of the last 6 years, it was proved correct, you know. But remember Donald Rumsfeld talking about the American invasion of Iraq, and he was talking about known knowns and known unknowns, and then there are unknown unknowns. And the big unknown unknown is Cork and the mental state, because no doubt about it, they have been the best team in the country this year. They've played the best football, no doubt about that. But they, at the back of their head, they have been beaten. They've played Kerry 6 times since 2002 in Croke Park. 5 defeats, 1 draw. They know goddamn well they're playing. There's nothing worse in sport to be beat than to be playing an opponent a game that you've beaten. Then they also know that this Kerry team now are a much different proposition. So the unknown unknown is, if Kerry get a run on them, if Kerry get a lead on them, will they, like Dublin in the quarter-final, collapse? We're not sure, Michael. That is the big.
I was talking, Joe Bradley, to Mickey Hart on Friday. And he was at a function. He was being asked questions, you know, about preparing for Ireland finals and so forth. And he talked about, you know, being underdogs and tradition against you and all that. He talked obviously about Tyrone. When he went in, they never won Ireland. He said you can look at this 2 ways. You can say, you know, we're not up to it with someone. When we get to Croke Park, we're not good enough. Or you can say to yourself, here's the challenge. Here's the positive challenge we have to face. We have a problem here up to this. Now, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, and Mickey's tipping Cork, you know, and you're always worried about this sort of, you know, aura of infallibility that's around Mickey. I mean, I'm not tipping Cork today, but I mean, I think that's absolutely right, you know. But the big thing for me is that, you know, Kerry have failed every time in an All-Ireland final. They've been severely tested. They've wilted. You know, in the All-Ireland semi-final against Tyrone in 03, you could forgive that. Maybe they were taken by surprise. But in the other finals against Armagh in the second half, when they collapsed completely, 2005, the last quarter last year, and what Cork will bring is that 70 minutes of ferocity and intensity and tackling and hard graft. And it'll be an awful shame if this Kerry team go down in history as a team that, you know, were thoroughbreds, but they weren't manly enough to really rise to the challenge, you know, whenever somebody really put it up to them. And
Pat Spillane, no matter how many times you see the Kerry team running out onto the field in Croke Park for All-Ireland final day, it's still a proud man.
Yeah. Look, you know, we're a proud county, and, you know, I mean, we like to get into All-Ireland finals. We like to win All-Ireland finals. But the important thing about it, win or lose, if you win an All-Ireland final in Kerry, by Wednesday, I can tell you this, it's forgotten. If we lose an All-Ireland final, we'll take our beating manly and we move on again because next year, 2010 championship, all your successes of 2009 are forgotten about, and that's what drives Kerry, this passing on the torch, this winning of All-Ireland medals. It's a very, very proud tradition, and, you know, it's the dream of every. I've been privileged to have played and represented Kerry in Croke Park, and it always makes one proud to see one's county run out an All-Ireland final day in Croke Park.
Yeah. Now, a little while ago, we heard from the Cork manager, Conor Coonahan. I also recently met up with the Kerry boss, Jack O'Connor. 5 years ago, he was the man in charge when Kerry pulled off a big win over Mayo in the final. The campaign of 2009 has been a bit bumpier so far, with a few trials and tribulations along the way.
If you write a book with Tom Humphries, he's not going to be beating around the bush or allow you to beat around the bush. You know, you're going to have to be to the point, and I thought it was better off to write the book honestly. And, you know, if I told a couple of yarns about players here and there, sure. I mean, after you win All-Ireland, you can say whatever you want, basically. You know, you'll get away with murder. So, you know, I didn't feel as if I betrayed anybody. But sure, some people thought I did and made a big deal about it, you know. Tom Humphreys asked me during the year sometime, you know, Jack, is the book going to be an issue? And I said, Tom, the book will be an issue if we lose. Yeah, but that's the nature of the beast down here. It's like an industry in itself, the rumour mill. And sure, people get great fun out of it. It's a form of entertainment. So, you know, once the players don't, you know, start believing it and start getting carried away with it, there's no problem. We were basically only interested in what was happening in training, not what people were talking about. So it didn't affect us to the degree that people thought it was, you know. The last time was very successful. We reached 3 finals, we won 2 of them, and beaten by a great Tyrone side in 2005. To be honest with you, I think the Tyrone issue is a bigger factor with the fans and the media than it is with the Kerry players. It wasn't as if Jack O'Connor was going to come back and Tyrone were going to fall their way and all the rest of it. Any day you lose to Cork as a setback, and we lost fairly comprehensively to them in the replay above in Park and Cleeve. And you'd have to say that at the time that things looked bleak for us because, you know, Cork ran through us in the last quarter of an hour of that game. But, you know, the great thing for us is that we had a second chance, and it was funny, you know, as a management, we were standing on the sideline with 15 minutes to go, and I was kind of saying, listen lads, we need to look out there now and see what remedial action we can take to improve the situation. And basically we had 3 weeks before the first qualifier to get our act together, and we did rejig the team a bit, and obviously brought back like Michael McCarthy, put Tommy Griffin full back, with Seamus Ganlon coming into the team, who had been injured for a good part of the year, and you know, gradually rejigged the team a bit and tried to get the balance right, because we knew ourselves what we had in Park and Cleeve wasn't going to be good enough. We're not in the business of just being there, you know, to reach finals. We're in the business of trying to win them. So we're well aware that we'll have our hands full with these Cork fellas, but we just think we're in a better position to play them now than we were in June. This team won't be around forever, and they've a good bit of mileage in the clock, and some fellas pushing on a bit. So, you know, I think they'll only really appreciate this team when they're gone. We're facing a fierce, tough test with our neighbours here on Sunday, and the fact of the matter is, you might think there's rivalry between Kerry and Tyrone, but there's nothing to the rivalry between Kerry and Cork. And it's a big game for both sets of players and supporters.
A bit of a bestseller. That was Kerry manager Jack O'Connor, whom I met recently in a warm and picturesque Killarney, I have to say. Time for us to head over to the commentary box to get news of the way the teams line out, and we're going to join Ger Canning and Martin Carney.
Thanks very much indeed, Michael. Well, Kerry, of course, the market leaders in Gaelic football, are bidding for a 5th All-Ireland title this decade. Some record. The Kingdom showing one change from the team which started against Meath in the semi-final. Tommy Walsh is preferred to his namesake Donncha Walsh. He starts at full forward with Declan O'Sullivan moving onto the 40. It's an 8th All-Ireland final for cornerback Tom O'Sullivan and the O'Shea brothers from Ord the Voher. Remember, Dara was missing for the 04 final because of an injury. Well, Cork were anxious to name the same 15 once again. There's been a concern about Ray Carey, number 2 there in that graphic, and I think he's not going to play, and I think he may well be replaced by Kieran O'Connor. Anthony Lynch and Nicholas Murphy are playing in a 3rd All-Ireland final, still looking for that elusive winner's medal. 9 players in all remain from the team beaten by Kerry in the 2009 final. A 10th, Daniel Goulding, came on in that match and finished with a goal and a point. Well, so much for the team lineouts. Let's now take a closer look at today's finalists with Martin Carney, and we're starting, Martin, with Kerry and Dermot Murphy.
Yeah, Dermot has a very sound season so far, and again you could ask the question, would they be here today without a save against Sligo in the last minute?
Loads of experience in Kerry's full back line. Yeah,
a lot of experience. Tommy Griffin is somewhat unorthodox, and he's from the whatever it takes school of full back play, and I think he could be vulnerable to a player with some guile, but O'Sullivan and Mark O'Shea, outstanding cornerbacks.
Of course, the half line here features the return of of Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I think his return has revitalised the line. There's a solidness there again. There's a freshness about it, and its experience will be needed to curb Pearse O'Neill today.
And it's a tried and trusted midfield then, O'Shea and Scanlon.
Yeah, very much so. There's real presence in Darragh O'Shea, but I think this guy, Seamus O'Scanlan, is a wonderful support to him. Tireless player, uses possession well, and will play as an extra centre-half back.
What about the half-forward line then? Flair and talent here.
Well, flair and talent, but great talent from Paul Galvin in particular, my player of the year so far. Again, Declan O'Sullivan, expect him to play anywhere, but it's a lovely little subplot about Ty Kennelly coming home, forsaking a professional game and playing in an All-Ireland final.
And then your thoughts on the inside line?
Well, genius Colm Cooper, capable of the unexpected, goals in important games. Tommy Walsh won 2 the last day, deserves to be recalled, and Darren O'Sullivan, a good ball winner, maybe doesn't let the ball go quickly enough, but an outstanding captain nonetheless.
All right, let's turn to Cork now, and back for his second All-Ireland final is Alan Quirke.
Yeah, well, he has been prone to occasional error in big games, but again, secured this year in his bomb. He really bombs his kickouts.
Right, the full back line. I'm mentioning a possible change here at number 2.
Well, that's going to be interesting. Maybe Kieran O'Connor will come in, but Micheál Shields has played with great dash and aggression this year, and Anthony Lynch, really, his role is critical in curbing Colm Cooper.
Well, I suppose it's from half back that Cork seriously mount many of their attacks.
Yeah, that's their platinum line. I mean, the leadership, the example, and the tigerish, forward thrust that Canty gives it. Noel O'Leary, all passion, and on the other side, John Miskell as a real dynamo.
Once again, then it's O'Connor and it's Murphy in midfield.
Yeah, Nicholas Murphy, a fine fielder, and less prominent this year, and again has in the past been unable to deal with Darragh O'Shea. But beside him, I think, Alan O'Connor, outstanding work rate throughout.
There's certainly plenty of pace and variety in this next line.
Yeah, there's youthful confidence for the likes of Paul Kerrigan. Pearse O'Neill's pace has the ability to unsettle Kerry, but they need a massive game from him. And on the other side, Paddy Keddy, hugely understated, and his decision making is outstanding.
And then finally, how do you rate this full forward line?
Well, I think Daniel Golding is a real gem. Colm Hayes is Colm O'Neill, I should say, is a precocious talent, plays with great poise. And in the other corner, Donald O'Connor, his place kicking needs to be spot on today, and I'd like to see him playing with a little bit more assurance.
OK, Martin, thank you very much indeed. Well, Cork, I can tell you, have won the toss. Canty, the captain, indicated that they would play from right to left. Not a great deal of breeze around this afternoon, Michael.
No, there is not, George King. It's an absolutely beautiful day here in Dublin. Perfect conditions for the match. Now, we can confirm, Colin O'Rourke, that change we were talking about in the Cork team. Kieran O'Connor coming in, wearing number 17 for Ray Kerry at right cornerback.
Yeah, I think that will weaken the Cork team. Kieran O'Connor is small and has had difficulty in the past. I presume they certainly wouldn't ask him to play on Tommy Walsh, because I would expect that Tommy Walsh would play left corner forward, Declan O'Sullivan to move into full forward, and Kennelly to play at centre half forward. So Kieran O'Connor would have a serious size disadvantage if he ended up on Tommy Walsh. They'll probably send him to mark Darren O'Sullivan, I would think, and leave some of the bigger players inside, because obviously Anthony Lynch will pick up Cooper. So Cork may have a slight difficulty there with their marking arrangements at the back.
Well, the belief in Kerry is that they're going to play a 2-man full forward line with Tommy Walsh and Gooch Cooper as the 2-man full forward line, and playing Darren out.
This forces Micheál Shields to pick up Walsh, which could be a real mismatch, because although Tommy can be a bit of a liability if he doesn't start well, he can turn a game in a trice.
Sure, yeah.
And Shields laboured very badly under the high balls against Donegal. I mean, Michael Murphy had him in his pocket, and that's a real worry there. And I think that Shields is bound to be, because he had a personal disaster in 2007. He's going to be extremely nervous about this today. And Tommy doesn't really care about that type of thing,
Sure, yeah.
And when we talk about the size of the Cork team, it's an absolutely huge team,
apart from the full back line.
From their full back line, where they probably need one really big player. The likes of Pearse O'Neill and Nicholas Murphy and Alan O'Connor, huge size, but all their size is really around the middle of the pitch.
More pressure now on the Cork defence all around then. Pats Bryan, fellas like Graham Canty, their centre back and their captain there, he will have to hold the whole thing together now in a bigger way.
Well, indeed. I mean, look, Kerry will take Limerick's game plan in the Munster final as their template today. I mean, Limerick showed how this Cork team can be beaten, and one of the key things is stopping the likes of Canty, stopping Noel O'Leary from building up from the back, because Cork's attacks come from the back. Against Kerry in the 2 matches, the Kerry forward line's work rate was absolutely abysmal. They didn't defend when they lost possession, so which meant that Cork players were coming up and the support player was always in. So if you can put that Cork back line, and particularly that Cork half back line, on the defensive, then Kerry have gone a long way towards it. So there's a big onus on the likes of Paul Galvin and all those to track back, work hard. Now, there is a question mark over Paul Galvin, because Paul Galvin hasn't trained fully since the Meath game. So he has a problem with his groin. The expectation is that he will not last 70 minutes. That's what they believe in, because he hasn't pushed himself to the extreme. So Galvin has been probably Kerry's player of the year thus far. But like the big thing, and like you look at 3 players that Kerry have this year that they didn't have in the All-Ireland final last year: Mike McCarthy, Tyke Kennelly and Paul Galvin. They're 3 big players. It's a different Kerry team this year.
And this is an amazing story, I suppose, for Tyke Kennelly, Colin O'Rourke. Always ambition to play an All-Ireland final. Played, of course, Aussie rules for many years successfully, and now back and playing in an All-Ireland final.
Yeah, I suppose it's the story of coming back to reclaim the family silver, you know, and I suppose he won't rest until he actually wins an All-Ireland medal. And I can understand that. Like, no matter what you get in life, you know, once you grow up in a tradition of Gaelic games, to win an All-Ireland medal with your county has to be the ultimate, and to win a county championship with your club.
Your dad lift the cup.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It sort of emphasises the separateness of Kerry. You know, could you imagine if he was from Derry saying, you know, my ambition is to come and win an All-Ireland senior title with Derry? You know, it's a much more remote prospect there.
But he has added greatly to the Kerry team. Like against Meath, I think he was on the ball more often than any other player, himself and Galvin. I think that they will play a big part today.
Okay, well now it's time for the introduction of Uachtaráin Ahern, Mary McAleese, and she's accompanied by her husband, Martin.
Yes, President Mary McAleese undertaking the official part of her afternoon in Croke Park by meeting the All-Ireland finalists, accompanied by Christy Cooney, Uachtaráin Cumann, Luke Lascoyle, and going across first of all to meet the Kerry contingent. And the Kerry captain this year, of course, is Darren O'Sullivan from the county champions Mid-Kerry. His first time to start an All-Ireland final as a player. Will it be their 36th All-Ireland victory? There's Mike McCarthy, who came back out of self-imposed retirement. Darragh O'Shea operating in midfield. Paul Galvin. And then the centre-forward, Declan O'Sullivan. There's Tyke Kennelly, who's come back from Australia to play in the All-Ireland final. At least that was his ambition. The referee, Marty Duffy from Sligo. His linesmen are David Coldrick and Joe McQuillan from Meath and Cavan, respectively, and Stephen McNamee from Tyrone as the sideline official. And then the umpires today, they are Michael Duffy, John Kilgannon, Pat Cawley, and Michael Kelly finally. And now it's the turn of the Cork men to be introduced to President McAleese. Graham Canty, the Cork captain for the 2nd year in a row. Already this year he's been presented with the Division 2 League trophy and the Munster Cup as well, hoping to be the first Cork captain since Larry Tompkins in 1990 to take home the Sam Maguire Cup. And down there in the middle of that, I can tell you that Kieran O'Connor is wearing number 17, and he is confirmed as being in the team as a late replacement for the injured Ray Kerry, who is up in the stands. Final man there, Derek O'Connor from Ballydesmond. It's clearly nerve-wracking for the players, trying to relax yet remain utterly concentrated on the task in hand, the business of winning the most important match of the year, and it's fast approaching.
It is fast approaching, and I'm sure Uachtaráin is looking forward to this big occasion, as she always does here at Croke Park today. We saw on the shot there, and we mentioned as well Pat Spillane, Marty Duffy, referee from Sligo here today. We wish him well, big day for him and for his officials. He needs to have a grip on this one.
Well, you know, he's a referee. I don't particularly like his refereeing style, because I think he refs too much by the book, and, you know, common sense doesn't seem to be taken into the equation at all. I would have had Paganini, but we wish him the best of luck. We will hope that at the end of the game that we don't have to talk about him at all. But unfortunately, an awful lot of the games that Marty Duffy refs, he becomes the subject of discussion, which he shouldn't be. But wish him the best of luck. He'll have 2 sporting teams anyway.
This isn't the day for a box-ticking exercise.
No, it's not. It's not, Joe. But the thing about it is, it won't be Marty Duffy's fault if trouble starts down the field. And that's one, I suppose,
it might be
a bit of a fear we might have.
It might be, you know.
Well, sometimes, you know, a good referee has a feel for a game, and he understands what's happening between the players. I'm quite sure it'll be a sporting game. The last time I made the comment about Marty Duffy, I think I insulted all the small men.
You're a sizest pig, honestly.
I hope he does well. I hope he does well, but you know, it's up to the players to ensure that it's an easy job for him.
Joe Brawley's Pat's our train boys band, Pascalan, are there as he requested a little bit earlier on. So we're a few minutes just away from the throw-in, about 5 minutes. Pat, can Kerry do it? Can Kerry put it all behind them and win the All-Ireland title?
I think they can, based on a few things. If they can increase the work rate, if they can move the ball quick and long, if they keep the Cork half back line on the defensive, it's a lot of ifs and buts and whatever it is. Kerry have the experience. Cork are the better footballing team and have been the better footballing team all year. But the All-Ireland final is decided over the next 70 minutes. And I just think maybe Kerry's experience of the big day will see them over the line. And what I believe will be a great struggle, because what you have is two teams who will set out their stall positively and play to their strengths. I'm looking forward to it.
Colin.
Well, I don't think it's going to be anything like 2007 when it was a walkover. I wouldn't agree with Pat that Cork are a better footballing side, because Kerry have the proven pedigree when it comes to football quality in All-Ireland finals.
I think footballing side this year.
Yeah, well, I think there's a bit of a doubt over the Cork scoring forwards. I wouldn't be gone on that inside line that Cork have. Kerry have proven in the past that when it comes to the big day, they normally turn up trumps. So for me, it's the old dog for the hard road, Kerry to win.
No time for doubts. So, Brody?
No, I think that, it's a huge test for Kerry, because I do think that, it'll be a great disappointment. It'll be an anticlimactic end to a decade of what ought to have been, stellar achievement, because they're stellar footballers. And the only reason that they won't win today, if they don't win, is because they're just not able to put their backs to the wheel. And that's what happened against Tyrone on 3 occasions. I think it's a different Kerry team now. There's something about the ruthless dispatch of Dublin and of Meath the last day, the way they cruised through the league remorselessly. I don't think Munster really matters. And I just feel all around that although Cork will get ripped into them for 70 minutes, and Cork could easily win the game because they've got vast desire and they've got the equipment now and the athleticism to do so, I just think that in the round, Kerry will have a wee bit too much. So I think Kerry today, Cork tomorrow.
All right, that's the view from the panellists. The All-Ireland Football Final of 2009. It's time to find out indeed who is going to claim the big prize in the championship. In the commentary box, Ger Canning and Martin Carney.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. It's the final part of the pre-match programme then, as we prepared for the third final in 7 years involving teams from the same province. And what about the goalkeeper for Cork? Well, he's going to have some week, Here he is playing in his second All-Ireland football final. And next Saturday, he marries the lovely Katrina. And I'll tell you something, a replay is certainly not on their agenda. Well, the best of luck to them. He's got more than football on his mind very, very clearly. And I'm hearing about a man called Tim Holland, who comes from Cork. And I'm told that Tim is here today and he's attending his 136th consecutive All-Ireland final. Football and hurling clearly. I tell you, that's a testimony to good health and a very good ticket supplier as well. The managers are looking suitably tense down on the sideline. Jack O'Connor, who came back, won 2 All-Irelands, 04 and 06. With Ger O'Keefe there, one of his selectors. Martin Carney's alongside me. What are you expecting?
Well, I'd expect Kerry will try and set the initiative at the very, very outset, because one thing they want to try and avoid is allowing Cork to get the upper hand from an early stage. Cork, on the other hand, will try to use their athleticism, in particular from their half-back line. They'll try and spread the game out. To counter that, I expect a hugely aggressive display from the Kerry half-forward line. I think Tim Connelly from the outside will probably take up Graham Canty, neutralise Graham Canty, keep Graham Canty in the back foot. On top of that, I'd say John Miskela also will be again put under an awful lot of pressure, because if Cork are to win, then that has to be the source. That half-back line of theirs has to be the source of all that is good. Kerry, on the other hand, then up front, it'll be interesting to see what role they will give Declan O'Sullivan. I'd imagine they'll play him at the edge of the square.
I think he'd go in full forward.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll go in full forward. I think
Welch probably going top of the left, and possibly Kennelly out there, as you say, doing that match up on Canty.
That's right, and Darren O'Sullivan moving out also. But the other guy I'm really looking forward to is Paul Galvin. I really hope he is a stormer today.
Well, before the action gets underway, the Artane boys and girls are poised for the playing of our own Navia. over 82,000 people are here in Croke Park to see the closest of neighbours, the keenest of rivals, but there's been a sharp edge to the competition between these Cork and Kerry players for the past couple of years now. So what will the 2009 final produce? Kerry against Cork, the 120th ever All-Ireland football final, refereed today by Marty Duffy from Sligo. And the opening 15 minutes are expected to be highly paced and somewhat frenetic. The Kerry fans are ready. Walsh has gone in there for starters anyway, in on Michael Shields. The umpires are going back into their positions. All is ready and raring to go. Marty Duffy just checking that everybody's inside the respective lines where they're supposed to be. Inside the 45. And the All-Ireland football final gets underway, and it's Cork who play from left to right, and straight away Nicholas Murphy hit there as that ball was coming towards him from the throw-in. And straight away he's going to require some attention. Watch this again here, watch the elbow, and it was Kennelly coming across there. It was a high elbow.
Yeah, Tyke seemed overcharged definitely in that case. Again, very aroused at the moment, and certainly came in, the elbow was high, and again Nicholas Murphy turning into him just got it right in the post. That's a hard rattle, and Marty Duffy probably will set down the law immediately and issue a yellow card.
Well, the last time he was in a major final he was wearing the red and white of the Sydney Swans. Conor Coonahan concerned about his midfielder Nicholas Murphy, the Carriga lineman, attended to there by the physio. Just watch it again here. Kennelly coming in here, did catch him. Oh, was high. Cork trying to mount the first attack, and Tom O'Sullivan getting there straight away, the left corner back, linking up here with Mark O'Shea. Now Tommy Griffin has come back and played at full back for Kerry. Second time he's been asked to do that in championship football in the last number of years. Darragh O'Shea trying to work it out of trouble, still inside his own 45-metre line. Carried forward here by Tom O'Sullivan. Here's Mike McCarthy. Down as far as Kennelly. Hoofed it on only as far as Michael Shields. Didn't see a card for Kennelly, was there one?
No, definitely no card for Kennelly. Maybe just Marty Duffy certainly took a lenient view of it.
As Shields goes, Shields is tripped. Falls over the outstretched legs of Declan O'Sullivan, and the referee awards the free kick, which Noel O'Leary is preparing to take. Here as far as Murphy once again, happily recovered. Up as far as Donnacha O'Connor. Switching across. Looking for some end product at the end of all of this. It's Alan O'Connor who comes through here. Looking for the opening score of the match, and that's very askew indeed. Ironically, he had just scored his first ever championship point, you might remember, against Tyrone a few weeks ago, before he got that second yellow card.
Yeah, but that tactic we see there, midfielders and half-backs taking the ball off their half-forward line, is something that we see repeatedly from Cork today. They're standing at that. A little bit more steadiness was needed with that finish.
Dermot Murphy. Cork would be expected to dominate the kick-outs in midfield. They get this first one from Kerry. There towards Paul Kerrigan. And Kerrigan is held. It's going to be a free in for Cork.
Incidentally, the two wing forwards have switched. Tomas O'Shea is on Kerrigan at the moment, and Killian Young is picking up Patrick Kelly.
Would you have expected that?
I wouldn't have really. I would have thought that that Kerrigan would have stayed over and allowed Killian Young to be on him. But again, it's one of the moves I wouldn't expect. Certainly, I expected Kennelly to be playing on Canty.
So it's Donnacha O'Connor then, deep intake of breath. 10th time playing Kerry in the championship, looking to open the scoring here. Catches it well. That's a confidently struck shot, and it's over the bar. Well, like all free takers, he's so highly dependent on confidence, and that will be a huge boost right from the outset here. Inside the right-hand post, 3.5 minutes are gone, and Cork take the lead.
Yes, in the past he has suffered a little bit from having missed early scores. That one certainly will do his confidence a lot of good. And again, he's such a fine footballer. It's a shame to see that diffidence kicking in big days occasionally.
Just a mention of the breeze, by the way. It is a very, very still afternoon in Croke Park, but up near the other end, near Hill 16, there's always a somewhat contrary breeze. Kerry attack that goal right now, and here comes Kennelly, looking to try and tie up the scores. Gets away from the would-be challenge, hits it in very confidently and puts it over the bar. Great score for Ty Kennelly, man of the match against Meath in the semi-final. Well, he took it in his stride here brilliantly, struck it well. Beautiful point.
Beautiful point indeed. Wonderful running on an angle that time by Kennelly. And again, it's a feature of his game that's improved hugely, is it kicking inside of the foot from a difficult angle. That's a lovely score.
Of course, his dad played 7 times in the All-Ireland final and captained Kerry to victory 30 years ago. This is broken down to Seamus Scanlon this time. Picked up here by Paul Galvin. Support available. That's Tomas O'Shea. Missed there by Paddy Kelly. Seized on here, however, by Declan O'Sullivan. Looking for another score. Declan O'Sullivan, this spells danger. Cork get players back. Lynch tries to get it away. Helped out here by Miskala. Fed away out towards Anthony Lynch. Still Lynch, shouldered that time there by Darren O'Sullivan. Scrambling for possession here, it's O'Leary who picks it up. Sent inside there towards Colm O'Neill, broken back down here towards Galvin once again. He'll do a lot of the foraging, helped there by Darragh O'Shea. Supported here by young Killian Young, he's just 22 years of age. Tom O'Sullivan now, having an outstanding year since a switch back to left corner back. The captain, Darren O'Sullivan, out around the half-forward lines. Struggling to get the ball away and hit rather aimlessly. Graham Canty onto it quickly, has options now. One of them here, John Miskala. Great running. Picked up here by Donnacha O'Connor. Lovely diagonal run across. Tracked there by Mark O'Shea, trying to make a more favourable angle for himself. Runs into the challenge of Galvin. Ball scrambled loose. Picked up again here by Mike McCarthy, the centre half back, out as far as Seamus Scanlon. Kicked forward to Kennelly. Again has support players on his shoulder. Tomas O'Shea, left-footed kick down all the way towards Tommy Welch, slipping, runs on for the goalkeeper, and Quirk linking up here with Michael Shields. Very deep running there by Paul Kerrigan to go way back to Forage. Here he is again, taking it from Canty, his captain. He's made up a lot of ground. Clever ball inside. Again, good defending. That was Tom O'Sullivan out to it first. Really good cornerback play. Linking up with Scanlon. Knocked ahead towards Declan O'Sullivan. And Kieran O'Connor rather, in there to match up with him, but it breaks favourably here for Killian Young. Run back again by Nicholas Murphy. There's great pace to the match. Comes up here as far as Paddy Kelly. Still Kelly. Been allowed to carry it forward a good 20-30 metres, but it's a rather aimless final ball. He was anticipating either Colm O'Neill or the other corner forward to be able to get at the end of it, Daniel Goulding, but it came to naught. Yeah,
as you said, there's great pace of the game, great rhythm by both sides, and I must say the tackling so far has been crisp and effective from both sides. Again, both sides are getting plenty of players behind the ball. Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yes, that's definitely, he came down with his foot on Kieran O'Connor that time. Whether it's accidental or not, I don't know about that.
That looks like a stumble, but it isn't pleasant to look at. Comes back towards Colm O'Neill once again, kicking off his left this time. Beautiful kick, and he puts it over the bar. Well, there were questions being asked about the young players, in particular the young forwards that Cork have in their team today, whether they might freeze on the big occasion. But this Colm O'Neill is a very good player. He'll be 21 on Tuesday, looking for an early birthday present. 2-1 to Cork.
Yeah, as you've said, a very precocious player, and again I would fear for Tommy Griffin in some ways playing on a player like O'Neill, because he has so much guile.
Knocked down this time by Darragh O'Shea, but knocked down only as far as Paddy Kelly. Once again it's Nicholas Murphy holding off Paul Galvin and hit straight to the one man he didn't want to hit it to, Tom O'Sullivan, the left corner back. Here comes Tomas O'Shea. Good running again by Ty Kennelly, and the running of Kennelly is excellent so far. He's dragging Graham Canty this way and that, and Cork will need Graham Canty to be a pivotal figure at centre half back. That time he's helped out by Alan O'Connor. O'Leary gets it out as far as Kieran O'Connor. Plenty of O'Connors playing for Cork. Here comes Canty, seen now as an attacking force. Beautiful ball, measured perfectly for Colm O'Neill. Release quickly to Paddy Kelly. Can he finish? Hoping it'll draw insufficiently. It's moving, it's travelling, and it's gone between the post and over the bar. Excellent point by Cork and by Paddy Kelly. Lovely counter-attack, brilliant movement, and Cork lead the match by 3 points to 1.
That's an absolutely wonderful score, a wonderful piece of movement by in the Cork forward line. But again, Kelly's confidence that time from a difficult angle to take the point without going around his man, just wonderful. That was a really top drawer.
Kerry now trying to win this kick out and set up an attack of their own. It breaks, but once again it's Graham Canty. And this time Kennelly is allowing him to get away loose and needs to do a bit of defending. Donnacha O'Connor running into Galvin. Referee blows the whistle. Shake of the head by Paul Galvin. Let's have a look at it again here.
Yeah.
Oh, not much doubt about that.
Well, that's clumsy and that's aggressive. And again, referee is, you know, he's not issuing yellow cards.
Oh, O'Neill's after it. Oh, what a goal by Colm O'Neill! 10 minutes are gone. It's the opening goal of the game. And lovely little interplay there between Ty Kennelly and Tommy Welch. And when eventually Welch was poised to pull the trigger, he saw Kennelly there pointing the way, saying, there you are, have a go. He did, and it's 1-4 to 4 points.
Yes, that's a lovely interchange of passes between Kennelly and Walsh. And again, a beautiful crossfield ball that Kennelly did very well to win. But again, the need to get a lot more possession around the middle of the field. And interesting, the last attack that Cork had is the first time I've seen Tommy Griffin coming out and winning the ball.
The way Kerry have been using their possession is very interesting so far, Martin. They've had 4 attacks, they've had 4 scores. 4 shots at the target. Let's see what this 5th one can produce. It produces another one for Tommy Welch, and Tommy Welch gets 2 in a row. Great play, and it's 1-4 to 5 points, 2 between them.
The essence of simplicity again. Kick out one, dispatched quickly to Tommy Walsh, didn't take his man on, shot it over the bar, great score. Now we may be critical of him when he doesn't track back, but by God, when he gets a ball in scoring range, he's absolutely lethal.
Time for the kick out for Cork, and they've done very poorly on their own kick out so far. They've lost 4 so far, but they've been winning Kerry's kick out. That time there was a push in the back by Dara O'Shea. So free to the reigning Munster champions. Paddy Kelly going back to Nicholas Murphy. Midway through this first half, Murphy against Dara O'Shea. They've had some battles here in Croke Park in the past. Oh, the hand pass goes as far as Miskela, but there were 2 players lying on the deck at the end of it. Here's Colm O'Neill beating Tommy Griffin, hitting it in, but hitting it wide, pulling it to the near post that time. Won't have been pleased with the kick, but he's got a goal and a point so far. 4 wides for Cork. 21 minutes gone.
Yeah, he probably should have taken on Tommy Griffin that time. He had space to do it. Again, no support there around Tommy Griffin to help him out. But just going back, there was nothing malicious whatsoever in that collision between Paul Galvin and Nicholas Murphy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well caught here by Dara O'Shea. Galvin releasing it. Young involved. You know, the matchup that we were anticipating between Paul Galvin and Noel O'Leary, that hasn't materialised.
No, nobody has poured petrol on a jet anyway.
They've been portrayed, of course, in the build-up to all of this as the pantomime villains. I won't call them the ugly sisters.
No,
here comes Miskela. Kerry defending, and it's Griffin who gets it. And Kerry have taken a bit of a grip on midfield in the last few moments. Here comes Killian Young. There goes Killian Young. He's still moving. It's left for Tommy Walsh. Trying to place it in there. In 2 minds, really. Not exactly a pass to Colm Cooper, and there were a couple of other options as well.
Well, I don't think the pass was intended for Colm Cooper. Mike McCarthy had made a wonderful overlap actually into space. The pass was slightly overcooked, which was a shame from a Kerry point of view. But you're right in saying at the moment Kerry surprisingly are winning it well around the middle of the field. I would have expected a little bit more from the likes of Pearse O'Neill in terms of winning primary possession.
Jim Nolan there, one of the selectors, alongside his manager Conor Coonahan. Into the middle again, and it's a jersey pull there by Alan O'Connor, I think, on Seamus Scanlon. Referee blows his whistle, free awarded to Paul Galvin. Down as far as Declan O'Sullivan. Trying to cut through the Cork defence, again held there by Kieran O'Connor, who's having his problems very definitely.
Very much so, and if I were the Kerry manager, which thankfully I'm not, I will be getting to play the ball more and more to Declan O'Sullivan. He is the beating of Kieran O'Connor, and I think the loss of Ray Carey is being sorely felt, and don't be surprised if there's a Cork back sub coming in a couple of minutes.
Well, Kieran O'Connor has just been noted by the referee for that. No black cards shown anymore, but any more offences like that and he will be getting a yellow card. So Colm Cooper, 2 points from frees so far. 22 metres out, no real difficulty, straight over. So it's 1-4 to 6 points, and Cork still leading, but now the lead is down to a solitary point.
Yeah, and again, Kerry have responded magnificently since the concession of that goal. In fact, they have gone and scored 4 points since then, or 3 points since then, but they've been in control around the middle of the park in particular.
That goal after 10 minutes by Colm O'Neill has been hugely important from Cork's point of view, but Kerry have fought back strongly here, and Cork concede yet another free kick. It's Kieran O'Connor again conceding to Declan O'Sullivan. Sent in brilliantly there. Colm Cooper in alongside Lynch, right on the end line, looking for latitude, looking for a support player. Darren O'Sullivan swings it back again towards Kennelly, and Kennelly hits it, but he puts it wide. A really good chance.
Great opportunity, but I must say the coordination that time between Declan O'Sullivan and Colm Cooper was absolutely wonderful. Beautifully flighted score, or flighted pass I should say, but great defensive play by Anthony Lynch in keeping him out. But Kennelly will be disappointed with the overall finish.
Well, that is only their first attacking foray that went wide of the target. I think the experience that Kerry have had playing in 6 finals on the trot is suddenly beginning to come to the fore here. We mentioned that they don't do panic. Now it's up to Cork to fight their way back into this, although they are still ahead by a solitary point.
Yeah, that was the first kick out in a while that has gone straight down the middle into Pierce O'Neill. It's the first kick out they have won on a break in a while.
Canty kicking, O'Neill drifting away, lost possession however. Tomas O'Shea's after it, Paul Kerrigan's there as well, haven't seen too much of him. It's brilliantly released as far as Mark O'Shea. Oh, he's made a good 40-50 metres. Declan O'Sullivan calling for it, steadying himself and setting up an attack in there for Cooper. Brilliantly transferred to Galvin. There's a scoring chance here, fisting it, but fisting it wide, and the late challenge coming in there from Noel O'Leary was absolutely vital and essential.
Wonderful piece of defensive play that time by O'Leary. Great alertness by O'Leary. Oh, what a piece of interplay by the Kerry forwards that time. Beautiful off the ball movement, wonderful variation in terms of the passing. And the Kerry at the moment, when they get the ball into the forwards, they're starting to make a lot of ground in there. And the person again I think that's responsible for a lot is Declan O'Sullivan.
Well, some great defensive work that time by a combination of Noel O'Leary and Graham Canty, foiling Paul Galvin. Kelly jumping, missing it. Pierce O'Neill takes it instead. The man playing on the 40. Back towards Noel O'Leary. Looking around, seeing Canty ready to try and push through the centre. Kennelly goes into challenge. It breaks there for Alan O'Connor. He's foul, or he picks the ball off the ground, the referee has decided. That's the call.
Yeah, good call.
Paul Galvin ready to hit the free kick as we watch it once again here. Yeah, he did pick it up. The referee got it spot on. Here comes Declan O'Sullivan. Again, it's Declan O'Sullivan, and he really is hugely impressive. What a talent, and what a shot. Teams are level. It's been coming. Level for the second time in the match. But it's Declan O'Sullivan, his wonderful through movement here, getting it onto the right boot, and struck sweetly between the posts. And Kieran O'Connor is certainly finding him an enormous handful in this All-Ireland final.
Well, that's a really sweetly sculptured score on the way he took it. He took on the ball, he went in direct in straight lines, but the way he finished it again, absolutely delightful. But he's been a real threat over the last 10 minutes.
Cork haven't scored for 10 minutes. It's Kerry who are lording it in midfield. Darragh O'Shea and Seamus Scanlon. They've had some combination over the years. Indeed, looking at the record of the 2 Kerry midfielders, it's the 17th time that they've been playing together today in the championship. That's a challenge there on Mark O'Shea. which is penalised, and the record of the two midfielders, by the way, is very good. They've won 12 of the 16 matches where they've been paired so far. Watch for the stray hand here, catching.
Well, in fairness to
Mark
him,
O'Shea, he was reaching out.
Nobody had slipped. Mark O'Shea had slipped, in all fairness, and I wouldn't blame the Cork player whatsoever in that instance.
Well, certainly it wasn't intentional. I merely said I think he was reaching out, and just the whole thing didn't quite reach the finish that he intended with that challenge. And now
what happened there actually is that Marty Dudley has noticed Anthony Lynch holding on to Colin Cooper before the free kick was taken, and as a consequence of that he's actually awarding a free in from the place where this incident took place.
And it's an opportunity for Kerry to go in front of the match. It'll be for the first time. Shake of the head by Anthony Lynch. Cooper has got 3 so far. This ideally plays for a man who's got a kick with the left boot. So an opportunity for Kerry fans then to find their voices once again. The lead changes and it's Kerry 8, Cork 1 goal and 4 points, 8 points to 7.
Yeah, and again, the Cork defence, who were on top so well early on, just need to be that little bit disciplined and not give away soft free kicks like that. And I notice now actually that Miskell has gone on to Declan O'Sullivan, which isn't before time.
Absolutely. Well, here we are in the 30th minute, and since Cork's goal after 10 minutes, they've had just 1 score. Here comes Paul Galvin. All Kerry. Here's Kennelly from that pass by Galvin onto his right. Cracking it brilliantly and putting it over. A second for Ty Kennelly, the man who came back from the Sydney Swans because he wanted to do what his brother has done and what his father has done before him, and that's come and play in an All-Ireland final, and more particularly pick up an All-Ireland medal. Will it be his day?
Yeah, but the hot carrier it was who got the ball from that time, Paul Galvin, a wonderful assist. Again, Kennelly's enthusiasm is infectious. You could see his delight in scoring that point. And again, Graham Canty has not had the impact that we would have expected up to now because of his difficulties in looking after Kennelly.
So far the way Kerry have set up their team is working perfectly. Here's Canty. There's a lot of football in Graham Canty. There's a whole lot of determination as well. An outstanding captain. Ready to take this free kick. 5 minutes to go to half-time. O'Connor contests. Goulding in there as well. Seen very little of Daniel Goulding. Here he is now. Needs to get onto the left-hand side to crack over a score, and that will do his confidence a real power of good. Daniel Goulding, who's got 2 goals and 17 points now in this year's championship, took it inside Tom O'Sullivan, made an angle for himself and put it over the bar.
Yes, certainly that was a great point. I think it's about their first score in about 12 minutes or so, or 14 minutes actually. Again, good score, 1-on-1, confidence to go on to his left foot, and again cracked a fine score.
Kerry win the resultant kick out through Darragh O'Shea. Mike McCarthy has pushed ahead of him there. Across once more towards Declan O'Sullivan. Everything is going to him and through him. Tomas O'Shea has a quick little look up to see just what's on. Knocking it in here towards Colin Cooper, and Tommy Walsh spills away from them, and it's won by Michael Shields. The St Finbarr's man getting it forward here towards Noel O'Leary from Kilnamartyra. Waiting for a support player. Back out from O'Connor to Michael Shields. Cork looking for another score. Players to aim at inside. Oh, Donnacha O'Connor slipped and Galvin was back to help out, and it's out as far as Seamus Scanlon. Great pace in the match. Trying to measure this ball across here towards Mark O'Shea, and a lot of work to do over there. There was a foul committed anyway, and Kerry were ready to take the ball away, but the referee had blown his whistle.
Yes, I was fascinated to watch the role that Paul Galvin played in that last Cork attack. He didn't bother about O'Leary whatsoever. He just sprinted back into his old full back line, and who got the breaking ball when it came in? Galvin. Very, very good reading of the situation.
Just seems to me, looking at Paul Galvin this year, that he's trying to make up for the lost year last year when he was suspended for so much of the summer. Came in as a sub against Tyrone in the second half of the final. Tomas O'Shea belting it a huge distance down. Cooper, did he nudge Lynch in the back? Got away with it anyway. Colm Cooper still onto the left, and Cooper is for the ball wide. Just as it was coming towards him, I think he might well have just touched Anthony Lynch out of the way.
I think we would call it a judicious nudge. He certainly got a little bit of a hip into his back that time, and again, probably justice was done by when he put the ball wide.
Fourth wide for Kerry. Fascinating final. Kerry shading it. So far so good for Jack O'Connor's team. There's the scoring chances, 12 created by Kerry, 8 created by Conor Coonahan's team. Alan O'Connor trying to win it in midfield, but it's mostly Kerry. They've taken a firm command here, and from that midfield grip, which was expected to be Cork's strong point, they've taken over, and they have scorers coming right, left and centre. The latest one, Tomas O'Shea, second point in this year's championship, first of the day here. Kerry lead by 2.
Wonderful to watch though. Again, Scanlon that time picking up the break. Pierce O'Neill not being able to get on the end of those kickouts from Alan Quirk, but again O'Shea's footballing instincts were manifest that time. Wonderful score from a fantastic footballer.
I remember the great goal he got against Tyrone in the final here some 4 years ago. 2 minutes of additional time are going to be played at the end of the opening 35. That's Alan O'Connor trying to drag Cork forward. Kerrigan trying to place it this time, and now Kerry have settled to the task at the back, and Tommy Griffin is looking a lot more confident, supported by Mark O'Shea and Tom O'Sullivan, his 2 cornerbacks, and they can break again here. From number 2 to number 4, it's O'Sullivan getting it forward here, inevitably to Declan O'Sullivan. He's like an old-style telephone operator. Everything has to go through him. Back to O'Sullivan again.
It's a lovely description.
On there towards Tomas O'Shea. Cut out here by Graham Canty, and inside the referee saw Anthony Lynch and Colm Cooper, and he's gonna have words. Michael Shields going across to plead a case for Anthony Lynch, but Lynch is the one who's been drawn over here by Marty Duffy, the referee from Sligo, refereeing his first ever senior football final. He's refereed a women's senior football final much earlier in the decade, and that's a yellow card for Anthony Lynch.
Well, certainly that's a yellow card that he didn't have to actually, he didn't need to concede, and that Cork don't need to have, have him pick up. But again, they have both been at it. One has been at, and it happened in that case again that Lynch was caught out. But Cooper also has been given little nudges here and there, but hasn't been caught so far.
Well, you might remember the match in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, the replayed semi-final, when Lynch really won that hands down against Colm Cooper. I'm sure Cooper went in and said, it's not going to happen again. And Cooper has got another point from that free. That's 5 points from frees in the first half for Colm Cooper. We're in the second minute of injury time, and Kerry are leading the match by 3 points. Well, Cork will be very, very concerned, I think, with the way their scoring rate has dropped alarmingly over the last 26 minutes of this match. They've only got 2 points. At the time when they got the goal after 10 minutes, it was looking like everything was going Cork's way. There's a Cork player down on the ground at the moment, Nicholas Murphy. He's getting up rather gingerly as his colleague Alan O'Connor carries this forward. Maybe one more play in the last couple of seconds of this first half. Donnacha O'Connor trying to close the gap on Kerry. Knocked ahead towards the goal scorer Colm O'Neill. Trying to get there ahead of Tommy Griffin, who has settled to the task. And that's going to be a 45, first of the match for Cork. Well, Tommy Griffin, the publican from Dingle, will be very, very pleased with the way the game has gone for the last 20 minutes after a bit of a nightmarish opening 10.
Yeah, it was very, very bad opening, and again, the quality of the ball at that time coming into Colm O'Neill, Donnacha O'Connor and Daniel Golding was top class. But the source, the tap has been turned off around the middle of the field through the sheer work rate of the Kerry middle 8. And again, the likes of Galvin, the likes of Tyconelli, Declan O'Sullivan have been really the dominant group of players.
Well, this 45 has been entrusted to Colm O'Neill to take. You might remember he came on in the draw match in Killarney back in June, Munster semi-final. It just came on, and Cork needed a free taker from a 45, and he put it over the bar. That was in a more central position. As you can see, this is right on the sideline. Now, can he get it over from here? The CIT student, it's going to drop short. How many seconds are left? Daniel Goulding is upended just outside the large square, and it's going to be a free in. And there's a point here for the taking for Cork, which can bring them back within 2 points of Kerry heading into the interval break.
Yeah, again, the Kerry defence, kind of no complaints about that one. That was a definite, 2 or 3 of them fouled them. And it's a simple enough end to the half, actually, for Daniel Goulding. Simple enough opportunity.
Goulding with 1 point already from play, 1 now from a free. As referee Marty Duffy blows the half-time whistle in the All-Ireland football final. Cork started well and got the game's only goal after 10 minutes through Colm O'Neill, but then Kerry took over. Colm Cooper got 5 points from frees, but Kerry's dominance around the middle of the park meant that they had opportunities time and again to attack the Cork defence, and they took them in style and with a fair degree of regularity. And Kerry, I think, will be much the happier going in at the break here. It's Kerry 11 points, Cork 1 goal and 6. Michael.
And I think we're all happy that this is a really good, lively game of football. Joe Brawley, Colin O'Rourke and Pat Spillane with me here on the panel. Pat, happy enough at half-time, 2 points up, and have really got stuck into that game.
Fascinating and a very enjoyable first half. Michael Cox set out their stall in the first 10 minutes, isolated Colm O'Neill and Tommy Griffin, and they got 1-1 out of it. But then Kerry took over for this. After 10 minutes, Kerry took over. They dominated that middle third of the field. The key players in Cork, Graham Canty is getting a roasting from Ty Kennelly. Midfield, Kerry are winning midfield, and the Cork's attacking prowess from the half back line is non-existent. So it's been a very good performance by Kerry for the last 20 minutes. But like I said, the game is still in the melting pot.
Cheers, Colin O'Rourke.
Yeah, I think actually Cork are fortunate to be as close as they are, because Kerry played all the football really for the last 25 minutes of the half. They've got their marking arrangements right, and Kennelly has taken Graham Canty to the cleaners. Canty's now back in on Tommy Walsh. But I think of more concern to Cork is Pearse O'Neill hasn't featured in the game at all, and their 2 midfielders will be more or less out of it. But all the best individual players in the first half have nearly all been on the Kerry side.
People talk about a game of 2 halves, Joe. This has been a half of 2 games.
I know it's been a demonstration by Kerry after the first 10 minutes, and I'm glad from the neutrals' point of view that Cork had that whirlwind start, because Kerry have demonstrated their superiority all over the field, and it is a joy to watch them against Cork's scrambled defence. It's their awareness. You can't. So often when you're at club level, you're saying to boys, get your head up when you get the ball. You don't have to go on solo runs. Get your head up, go to the open space, look for the diagonal ball, and they're doing that beautifully. And really, Cork are very lucky only to be 2 points behind.
OK, we're going to take a short break here in the programme. More from the panel right after that. Hey, it's half-time at the All-Ireland football final. This is how things stand. Kerry leading Cork by 11 points to 1 goal in 6 points, and that's in front of an attendance here today of 82,286. Joe Brawley, Colin O'Rourke and Pat Spillane with me here in studio. All the right things happened for Cork early on in the game, got off to a blazing start, Joe, and then of course Colm O'Neill's goal, and that was the real rabble-rouser.
But they needed it. They badly needed a good start, to wipe out past memories and to confirm the fact that they're worthy to be here today. And O'Neill's goal, I must say, was a thing of absolute beauty. He did everything right. He took a look at where the keeper was. He put it the near post. It was taken with such aplomb. It's hard to believe that he's only 20, but beautifully taken.
At that stage of the game too, Colm O'Neill was really on top of Tommy Griffin, and it looked trouble. But in the last 15 minutes of the half, Griffin has got to grips with O'Neill and has won most of the 50-50 balls that have come in between them.
But I think that's primarily because they're kicking in high ball now on top of Goulding and O'Neill. And they can't do that. I mean, Daniel Goulding and O'Neill look really as if they can run riot off their men. I mean, just a basic thing. Goulding came in along the touchline. He had to come out onto his left foot. Tom O'Sullivan let him to come out onto his left foot to kick a point. And clearly, if the ball's going in low there, conversely, if Kerry would start kicking diagonal long balls into Tommy Walsh, the game could have been over by half-time.
It wasn't just the goal they got, Colin O'Rourke. Cork also got a couple of excellent points early on there from indeed O'Neill got a good point as well, and Pat Kelly in that.
O'Neill was on fire early on. The young fella in All-Ireland final, no fear, plenty of confidence in his own ability. This came before the goal. If he came after the goal, you'd say he was on a high, but he set out his stall from early on. And then of course Paddy Kelly, I'd say that when you were a back there and pushing a fella wide, you would say it's safe enough, but Kelly got a lot of ball early on too, but you know, he has drifted out of the game in company with most of the Cork players, because Kerry have been sort of relentless, coming from 5 down, you know, and went 3 up, so that's an 8-point turnover. And Kennelly missed an easy point, Galvin missed an easy point, so really Kerry have been relentless in sort of reeling in Cork. And if they get a goal early in the second half, you know, you'd fear for Cork.
It's a sign of a class team, Pat. It has to be said that when you're under the cosh, fellas stand up to it. Tommy Walsh stood up to it, Ty Kennelly stood up to it, Declan O'Sullivan, in terms of getting scores.
Yeah, well, these boys have been through many battles, and one thing they have is plenty composure, plenty experience, and they won't panic. And like Joe said, I mean, some of the forward play in that first half from Kerry was magnificent. Diagonal ball, high, over to Tim Kennelly, and look, beautiful point by. There's great support there. Everything that's good in forward play was exhibited there. And again, look, it's moving the ball quick and long, playing it into space. And look, even in this position, Walsh that's 40 metres out, bad angle, and it's a great point.
But I think you can also see...
And sorry, Joe, this is the best point, sorry. Declan O'Sullivan, soling with the left foot, he's giving Kieran O'Connor a torrid afternoon, and then turning onto his right foot, which is his weaker foot, and taking a lovely point.
And Ty Kennelly has contributed well.
Well, Ty Kennelly has been brilliant in the first half. Both himself and Galvin has sort of cropped up more often than probably any other players in possession. But the greatest mismatch is Kieran O'Connor and Declan O'Sullivan. I can't understand how Cork have allowed that to continue. I thought they'd have taken them off early on.
And the funny thing about the Kerry forward line is that Darren O'Sullivan, the captain, is absolutely not in the game. And Gooch, while he's kicked 5 great frees, Gooch is not the same Gooch as last year, because Gooch's work rate off the ball is not what is required.
Don't forget that the reason that Darren O'Sullivan's in the half-forward line is to stop Muskella playing, and he's taken him out of the game entirely. You can see how much Kerry have learned over the last 4 or 5 years, and how much Jack O'Connor has learned. You know, last year Kerry were just running into the Tyrone traps. They were being swarmed, the ball was being taken off them, and every setback was demoralising to the Kerry crowd and to the Kerry team. This year in the first half, Cork were reliant on creating that sort of atmosphere, and they haven't been able to do it. I mean, Kerry have stepped away from the traps, they've moved the ball beautifully. Ty Kennelly has had a massive influence in the game. Because he's moving, you can't get a handle on him. I mean, he's appearing here in his 21-yard line, he's moving the ball beautifully to the extent that Graham Canty hasn't touched the ball. Now they've moved Graham Canty back in on Tommy Walsh, which is a mark of his superiority.
He was a massive influence in that first half, but he was looking maybe Colin O'Rourke that things might have gone against him in the very first minute of the game.
Yeah, in the first minute of the game on the throw, you know, when Nicholas Murphy takes the ball and Kennelly is coming in. Now, Kennelly is coming in at pace and Murphy turns into him. I think the referee has had a good first half. And, but, you know, Kennelly is fortunate to get away with that. It's
I mean, let's be fair about it.
He hits him with his shoulder right into the face.
Call it what it is. Call it what it is. Honestly, that was a straight red, lads. You've got to call it what it is.
If it had happened maybe 10 minutes later, it would have been he'd have been in trouble. You know, if you're going to have a serious incident in the first minute, the chances of getting sent off in the first minute are slim to none. But was it a sending off offence? I think it was, Mike.
Certainly, there's no doubt about
it was a yellow card offence, but I will admit, Marty Duffy's had a good game.
Excellent,
no doubt about that. Okay, time for us to take another break here in the programme. The second half of Kerry versus Cork is coming up straight after that. And also, there's a big prize for you to win, so get ready to take down some details. Ready for the second half of Kerry and Cork, but before that, there is a chance for you to win a fantastic prize. RTE Sport and the Ulster Bank, the official sponsor of the All-Ireland Football Championship, have joined forces to offer you a unique opportunity to enjoy the sights and the sounds of New York City and the passion and the pride of the GAA Football Senior Championship at the same time. Now, this prize for two includes return flights to New York, 4 nights accommodation in a 4-star Manhattan hotel, and tickets to see New York's first game in next year's championship, which will be held in May. You'll also receive $5,000 to spend while you're over there, and that's courtesy of the sponsors. To enter, all you have to do is correctly answer the following question. Sam Maguire, after whom the famous trophy is named, was a native of which county? Is it Galway, Derry or Cork? To enter, call 1515 717184 with your selection, or you can text football followed by your answer and your contact details to 57111. The number to call from Northern Ireland is 0901 293 0231. Viewers in Northern Ireland can also text their entries to 57111. And for more details and terms and conditions, you can go to RTE Airtel page 194. The lines remain open until 11 o'clock tonight. You must be 18 years or over to enter, and we'll announce the winners towards the end of our evening edition of the Sunday game tonight. So half-time then, the 2009 All-Ireland Football Final. Just to remind you that Kerry are leading Cork 11 points to 1 goal and 6 points. We're all enjoying it here in the studio. I'm sure you are at home. Enjoying it all over the country, indeed. And I know that they are down in Waterford, in actual fact. Kieran O'Connor, whom I met at the Temple Street Children's Ball on Friday night. I want to say hello to Kieran O'Gorman and to son Oisín. Hope you're enjoying the match. Here come the Kerry team. Pat, can you hold out? Can you win this one?
Well, a repeat of the last 20 minutes of performance like that will see Kerry coming through. I mean, Cork need a big 10 minutes, and if Cork don't have a big 10 minutes, well, then Kerry get a push in them, Kerry get a 5 or 6 point lead. I think it's Kerry's. It's Kerry's to lose, Michael.
Colin?
Well, Cork, you started off with great power and pace, but you know, Kerry, after 10 minutes got to grip with it, and you know, Kerry have been by far the most comfortable team in the last 20 minutes. Yeah. Unless Kerry run out of steam, which is unlikely, I think Kerry should win.
I mean, Cork can only win.
Change on the Cork team, by the way. Owen Cadigan has come in for Kieran O'Connor.
Any surprise there? No, not unexpected, because their full back line's in trouble, and Anthony Lynch is now in trouble with the yellow card. For Cork to win this game, they're dependent on absolute ferocity in the tackle, and they haven't shown that in the last 20 minutes.
We're ready to go for the second half. It's back to Ger Canning and Martin Carney.
So that's confirmed then that Owen Cadigan has come in. He's come in for his 3rd championship match. Played the second half as a sub against Meath last in 07, 2 years ago, and he was in the semi-final again this year. So that's the only change made at half-time. 2 points between them. Start of the second half, and it's now Kerry under pressure immediately from that flick forward by Nicholas Murphy. That's O'Neill trying to link up with Alan O'Connor. It breaks down, however. Let's see now who can make the best possible start to the second half. Mike McCarthy. Bounces out of the fist there of Noel O'Leary, picked up again by Kerry's Tom O'Sullivan. Partly stopped there by Nicholas Murphy, does well to reclaim it. Pressure applied on Goulding, gets it back here as far as his captain Graham Canty. Paddy Kelly now hit one marvellous point in the first half, trying to break free from the control of Killian Young. Inside here towards Cadigan. First touch, Paddy Kelly back once again towards Paul Kerrigan. Didn't see an awful lot of him in the first half. Has a go, and he has missed the target by several yards. So it remains at 11 points to 1-6.
Yeah, what was a feature of that attack is how lateral it was. There was nobody doing correct movement in the full forward line, and again, poor shot, bad shot selection, you could say, from Paul Kerry.
Just looking around the marking now at the back for Cork, and Cadigan's gone over there to pick up Tommy Walsh, who's at top of the left at this stage. Declan O'Sullivan's gone in full forward, and Miskela has gone in to cover Declan O'Sullivan. That's interesting. Out here as far as Paddy Kelly. Chased there by Young. Gets it back towards Nicholas Murphy. Darragh O'Shea trying to put in a challenge. It's his brother Mark who gets it away, but kicks straight back to a Cork man, back to Paddy Kelly. And Kerry have gone way, way back in defence to defend here. Colm O'Neill couldn't take it. It's Tom O'Sullivan instead, getting away from Goulding's despairing challenge. O'Sullivan trying to compose himself, hounded there again by Noel O'Leary. Fouled.
Yeah, what's fascinating actually is that there are 12 Kerry players behind the ball. There is absolutely no half-forward line whatsoever. It looks as if they've gone back into a shell and tried to kind of invite Cork onto them and maybe then take them on the break.
Almost reminded me of Cork against Tyrone, but Cork were down to 14 at that stage for the second half, and they had to defend. That is Ty Kennelly. And it'll be a line ball to Cork, which Graham Canty will take.
Yeah, Cork need a really spirited opening quarter and to get back into contention and to go ahead of Kerry, but they really need to get their scores on the board very quickly.
Miskela breaking out of defence. Forward here for Colm O'Neill, for Donnacha O'Connor. And the referee saw a trip there by Mark O'Shea, and it's going to be a free to Cork. Cork needing scores. 2 between them, but they need that big, big boost of a decent second half performance. This is going to be taken by Daniel Goulding, got 2 points in the first half. Second of those coming from a free. So 3 minutes into the second half then, a chance to narrow the gap to 1 point. It's going to drop to the right, and it's another missed opportunity. Never really caught it properly, and that's 6 wides now for Conor Coonahan's team.
Yeah, they're on top at the moment in terms of getting ball forward, but again they've got to take the opportunities like that, both from frees and as an earlier one, you know, from open play. That was a bad miss.
Well, the crowd now getting behind both teams. Kerry fans appreciating that their team maybe needs a lift, and Cork people getting right behind their favourites. They've been given a free as well. Alan O'Connor was ready to take it, but not from the correct position.
Yeah, Alan O'Connor started the second half with great purpose, and again he was dormant actually for quite a bit of the first half, but again it's good to see him coming out of his shell.
Plenty of movement inside now by the inside forwards. That's very well taken by Tom O'Sullivan, keeping a very close eye on Daniel Goulding, not really giving him much opportunity. And back goes Galvin to forage. He's been everywhere this afternoon in this match, and here he is again, Paul Galvin. Man from Finuge. Darragh O'Shea towards Kennelly, trying to open up the play here. Does well to hold on to it, and he had Graham Canty breathing down his neck, and the referee says Canty fouled him. Looked like Kennelly fell, took the ball with him. He was then poised to challenge.
Yeah, it was a lovely ball actually from Darragh O'Shea to Kennelly moving into it again. You know, it's a soft enough free in the circumstances.
This goes forward to Declan O'Sullivan anyway, and Declan O'Sullivan had his jersey pulled by John Miskela, his marker. It's going to be a free in for the Kingdom, and a chance for them then to get a point on the boards.
Yeah, that's madness actually, some of the frees that Cork are conceding at the moment. They should know by now that Marty Duffy has a thing about pulling jerseys, has a thing about holding on to players, and again, you know, they should have talked about that issue among themselves and not be conceding simple frees like this to Kerry.
Colm Cooper to kick this. He's kicked 5 in the first half, and he opens the scoring in the second, his 6th pointed free, and now he is the leading scorer in this year's championship, and Kerry have a 3-point advantage.
Positive thing at the moment for Cork is that maybe they're getting on top of midfield. That was a good conversion that time by Cooper.
But having said all of that, this great diamond that everybody was talking about, Canty, O'Connor, Murphy and O'Neill, that hasn't really blossomed so far. Maybe it will in the second. That's taken by Nicholas Murphy.
Yes.
Fouled.
It's fascinating actually the way the kickouts are going. They're playing the players wide, their midfield's wide, and O'Neill coming up the middle. It worked that time.
Here's Donnacha O'Connor trying to check inside, onto his left. Doesn't measure it as he wanted, however. They're getting the opportunities, they're getting the chances at the start of this second half now, and still they're unable to add to their half-time tally.
Yeah, that's a bad miss that time again. A good attack, good running into space by O'Connor, got it onto his left foot, should have taken that score.
Well, 3 wide so far, and certainly a young Sarah Kate Nestor, who's a young Cork fan, only 8 years of age, she won't be too pleased with what she's seen, but right now it's Kerry who are denied possession because the ball had gone out over the sideline here, in spite of the best endeavours of Tomás O'Shea, the man from Anguelta. Watch it again here.
Just out, just about.
Maybe just about.
I think all the ball is over the line that time.
Paul Kerrigan ready to hit this. Still trying to make an impact in this match. His dad played in an All-Ireland final way back in 1987. A converted wing-back to corner forward he was. And a good one at that as well, Jimmy. Here's Paddy Kelly. As far as Noel O'Leary. Cork are experiencing quite a degree of frustration in this match right now. Kerry, the old masters, have been here so many times before. Graham Canty trying to cut through. It may be the 120th football final as Colm O'Neill kicks it in, and it's gone out for a 45. Second of the match for Cork. They'll maintain the pressure on Kerry's goal. It's, as I say, the 120th final, but Kerry have now appeared in 54 of those. Not quite half the finals so far, but as near as makes no difference.
Yeah, a lot of the Cork attacks at the moment lack incisiveness. They're not netting the ball quickly, and if you notice in that last one, actually, it had allowed Darragh O'Shea to get back into his full back line to actually give away that 45. It's just too slow in getting the ball forward and not enough moving in the full forward line to make themselves targets.
Well, unless Cork can punish them by taking these frees and converting their opportunities, Kerry are going to be pretty comfortable about the way in which they face the remaining minutes of this All-Ireland final. Donnacha O'Connor hitting it, and Donnacha O'Connor has put another one wide. Well, this is, I think, the word they sometimes use, squandermania, because they are kicking it away. And Conor Coonahan must be considering another possible change in personnel.
Well, certainly he's trying to rouse his team and get them, get spirit going again in them. The Cork crowd are getting behind them, but there's no doubt about it. Misses like that can deflate and nibble away at your confidence.
Darragh O'Shea breaking it down, waiting for another Kerry man to come and assist him. Inevitably, Galvin was coming in. The referee, however, blows his whistle as Galvin's fouled, and it's a free to Kerry, which Darragh O'Shea himself will take. One here by Darren O'Sullivan, ready to take on Anthony Lynch. Darting run this way and that. This player has great pace. Great penetrating run. Oh, an impossible angle, and he's kicked it over the bar. What about that for a score and a first in the match by the Kerry captain, Darren O'Sullivan, applauded by the fans who've come up from the southwest. I thought he had run out of space. He certainly seemed to have no angle whatsoever to hit this ball. Lynch
bounced it twice.
Yeah, he did bounce it twice.
Yep.
Well, it may be one that shouldn't have counted, but he got away with it. Kerry get the point, and it's 13-9 in points. 4 between them. And Cork have yet to score in the second half. And we're now nearly 10 minutes into the second half as Michael Shields comes forward here. It's a very business-like approach here by Shields. Now, how will they finish it off? Oh, it's kicked away again. Complete breakdown, lack of cohesion, and utter frustration for Colm O'Neill, the full forward.
Remember, the cohesion in the pass and the actual precision and that coordination came from the likes of Canty, came from the likes of Pierce O'Neill at centre-half forward. But so far today, they have been really ineffective. They haven't been able to leave their stamp on the game. And unless and until such times as they come up and raise their game another couple of millimetres, Cork are not going to actually flourish.
Big difference in the second half so far, Martin, with over 10 minutes gone. Cork have had 4 scoring chances and they've missed each one of those scoring chances. Kerry have had 2. Taken both of them, including the last one by Darren O'Sullivan. 2 bounces and all. Here's Kennelly. Very, very deep. In fact, it's Mike McCarthy. Chased there by Nicholas Murphy. Released here for Darragh O'Shea. Out as far as Seamus Scanlon. Now this is Kennelly. Again, lovely turn past Graham Canty. Great leadership given, great accuracy of the pass. Tommy Walsh well blocked down that time. It's by Owen Cadigan. That's a good block. And here's the young Douglas player to take it away once again, out of defence. There was great speculation that he might start. He didn't. That might have been an error on the part of the Cork selectors. Kicked in this time, held on to well by Colm O'Neill. Back to Kerrigan. Cork need a score. Can he provide it? He's kicked it, and he's kicked it to the right of the target again. And another one has gone astray.
Yeah, and in all fairness, that time I felt myself, Colm O'Neill won that ball well out in front of Tommy Griffin and should have actually got a free in, I thought.
It's 9 wides now for Cork. Well, that's the one that went wide from Kerrigan. This is that brilliant block here by Owen Cadigan. Full of concentration, eyes on the ball, using his 2 hands well. 2 Cork players go for this one. This one is taken down here by Alan O'Connor. He was fouled, free to Cork. They're getting every opportunity to launch their attacks, but their finishing has been poor. Extremely poor. Donegal O'Connor. Mark O'Shea is out to try and deny him space. Still manages to get it in. Into Daniel Goulding. This man can be a winner. Goulding's doing well. Still Goulding. Blocked down well by Diarmuid Murphy, and there's a Kerry player there, Mike McCarthy, to pick up the pieces and get it to Darragh O'Shea. And coolly and calmly, Darragh O'Shea gets it out before he's fouled there by Donegal O'Connor. And Kerry breathe a sigh of relief. Not for the first time in this year's championship. Diarmuid Murphy has come to Kerry's rescue. In fairness, it was blasted straight at him by Daniel Goulding. The angle was tight, hadn't much to shoot at, but the Kerry number 1 did really well.
You're right, actually, the angle was very, very difficult. Again, it's been lovely to see from a Cork point of view a player coming in on the overlap to take it at a better angle. All Diarmuid Murphy had to do was stand up that time and execute the save, and that was done with great efficiency.
Well, there's a yellow card for Donegal O'Connor for repeated fouling. Well, that's where he got the yellow. Cork have possession, and that time it's Tomas O'Shea who's fouling. Tomas is Cork-based, incidentally. Oh, and there, kicked out at Graham Canty, and the referee doesn't take any action if he saw it.
I don't think anybody saw that, actually. I know there's a sub coming in for Cork at the moment, but again, definitely that time I think Tomas had a stray foot in and Graham Canty, and is very lucky not to have been checked on it.
Paul Kerrigan's got to go off, and Fintan Gould comes on. Second substitution for Cork. This free kick will be taken by Donnacha O'Connor. Got 2 frees in the first half. We're now 14 minutes into the second. Doesn't look too happy, this young Cork fan. This one goes over the bar. It just might bring a smile to a few faces. Catches it well. It's travelling nicely, and it's over. It's back to a 3-point game. Donnacha O'Connor's first point of the second half. Cork's first of the second 35 minutes as well, and it's taken a long, long time to produce. Well, now Kerry, with minimal attacking opportunities, are still holding on to a 3-point lead in a fascinating All-Ireland final. They're playing and using the ball very, very cleverly, not wasting passes. At that time, the frustration of Alan O'Connor evident, fouling Paul Galvin, who has stood head and shoulders among so many players out there in the park today, playing a wonderful game. Up as far as Darren O'Sullivan now, on here to the breaking Tommy Griffin, anxious to get away from fullback and put pressure on the other fullback, Cork's Michael Shields. Out it comes to Anthony Lynch. The counter-attack here with John Miskell involved. Back towards Lynch again. Cork looking for another score to close the gap. 3 between them. Alan O'Connor, plenty of time to go. Still about 20 minutes of the All-Ireland final to play. Fintan Gould darting, piercing run in there, and it's stopped there by Tomas O'Shea, out as far as Tommy Walsh. But look how far back the number 14 has come to gain primary possession and help out his beleaguered colleagues at the back. And there's got to be a change for Kerry now, and it'll be Donnacha Walsh who'll come on, and the player going off is Tadhg Kennelly. Well, that is an interesting change. What do you make of that?
I'm quite surprised at that. You know, Graham Canty certainly has upped this game somewhat in the second half, but I thought, you know, the very fact that Kennelly was on the pitch was going to occupy him, and that is a really big surprise to me.
Yeah, you consider, you know, this is the guy who's been a professional for 10 years and had been playing really well, I thought. Certainly the first half he was excellent. Maybe he's got an injury. Killian Young, back here for Darragh O'Shea. Onto it quickly here is Mark O'Shea trying to get his way through a whole group of Cork players. He's fallen on the ball, held onto it too long. Free to Cork, Donnacha O'Connor taking. Huge one down towards Daniel Goulding, getting inside O'Sullivan, and then forcing it over the bar eventually. There was a goal chance there for him. Good play by Tom O'Sullivan, his marker. A bit of hesitation initially by Daniel Goulding. And in the end, very happy to see it crawl inside that right-hand post. That's where I thought he might have hit it. Wanted to get back onto his right and then onto the left again. It means there's 2 between them.
Yeah, there's only one team in the second half so far, and that's Cork, and it's been all Cork. They're mopping around the centre of the field. Alan O'Connor has really come into the game. You know, just there once again, Nicholas Murphy that time feels a great ball.
Cork are owning the game at this stage. They've had 8 scoring opportunities to just 2 for Kerry.
Yeah, but again, the pure fitter at the moment. They've raised the pace of the game. They're varying their attacks much better. If their accuracy had matched their endeavour, they will be ahead at this stage.
Gould's free kick down towards Goulding. Quite a combination. And back there is Tom O'Sullivan as well. Daniel Goulding pleading his case to the linesman across on the far side as Kerry tried to work it up along the Cusack stand side. That's Tomas O'Shea. Held back, free to Kerry. They'll take every opportunity they can now to try and build confident attacks themselves in measured fashion. Here's Declan O'Sullivan, great ball carrier. Miskell is after him again, a man who can run marathons, you feel, before breakfast. Here he comes again, back once more to Tommy Walsh, having a go. Hasn't got the accuracy, it's gone left and it's gone wide. That's a 5th wide for Kerry. They have few opportunities. They need to take everyone as well, just to reinforce their superiority on the scoreboard. Only 2 between them. We're in the 54th minute.
Yes, like the first half in reverse in many respects. You know, the attacks this time from a Kerry point of view are sporadic. That point should have been taken by Tommy Walsh. Poor miss.
Cork try to win this one. And there was a push there on Alan O'Connor as it ran on as far as Pierce O'Neill. Didn't see an awful lot of Pierce O'Neill in that first half, but then that diagonal group of players, or diamond group of players, didn't really function all that terribly well in the centre for Cork. Here comes Colm O'Neill, goal a point in the opening 10 minutes. Recycling this one, holding it, teasing Tommy Griffin, his marker. Pass over hit to O'Neill, but he does well to get it to O'Connor, linking up with Canty. Now that Ty Kennelly has gone off, you would imagine that Graham Canty will be more and more seen as an attacking force, driving the side forward, showing the leadership. He's drawn the foul here. Donncha Walsh holding him down, some 30 metres out.
Indeed, there's only one team in at the moment. Cork have raised their game to a great degree at the moment. They're winning all the individual battles throughout the field, and I think that's the big thing, in particular around the middle eight. And they're just, that spirit is driving them ahead at the moment.
Those younger legs, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That enthusiasm, younger legs, but huge variation to the game.
As Goulding hicks it, and Goulding, very confident now, kicks it over the bar for his 4th point. 2 in the first half, 2 in the second. It's a 1-point game. Cork won 9, but Kerry still the leaders on 13 points. 15 minutes to go, and Aidan O'Mahony is being prepared. Or is he? Back he goes to the stand again. I think it's Kieran Donaghy who's been prepared. We might see the star in very, very shortly. And you know, when he comes on, it means that Kerry sense that there's real danger to their chances of taking the title. Only once ever have Kerry lost finals back-to-back. That was in the 60s to Galway, 64-65. Here's Miskela. Cork look to try and draw level. Great ball, brilliant ball, all the way down to Donncha O'Connor, who made a very good run. Excellent block by Mark O'Shea. Some great football in this final. Out to Darragh O'Shea. Quick look up to see who's making the movement for him. From the full back line comes Declan O'Sullivan, the number 11, who started up around full forward, now back helping out. Everybody required to win this battle. Tom O'Sullivan bursting forward. Again, laying it off sensibly to a player running laterally with him. Seamus Scanlon up here as far as Colm Cooper. The Gooch getting it in there, inside dangerously, in as far as Darren O'Sullivan. On to Cooper again. This spells danger into Donncha Walsh. Back once more, he comes to Tommy Walsh, high up into the sky. Does it travel sufficiently? It does! It's a fine point for Kerry. They may have been under pressure for a long, long time, but they gave Cork a timely reminder once more that they're a dangerous side in attack, and that's a terrific finish.
The boy had they got
Liam Quirk comes in, and Darren O'Sullivan goes off. So the star has been held for a little while long. Is he in? He is in, and Darragh O'Shea's gone off. So a couple of very, very significant changes now, because 2 enormously tall players have come on for Kerry. Will that be the match-winning move with 15 minutes or thereabouts to go? Galvin, the taker of the free, to Tomas O'Shea. Inside towards Donaghy. Back once again to Tommy Walsh. Back once more it goes, this time to Walsh once again. One Walsh to another, and that's a lovely cracking shot over the bar by Tommy Walsh, putting over his 4th, having taken the pass from Donncha Walsh. He's had 5 shots at the target in the afternoon so far, and the number 14 from Kerrins O'Rahilly puts it straight between the posts to put 3 between them once again.
That's a fantastic score that time. 2 fantastic scores indeed by Tommy Walsh. You're going to settle Kerry. And I noticed Derek Kavanagh has come in now to mark actually Kieran Donahue's at full forward.
And he's come on for Anthony Lynch. First championship match of the season for Kavanagh. Well, now, who's going to win this final? It's advantage Kerry at this stage. And that, having conceded so much space and opportunity to Cork for the opening 15 to 20 minutes nearly of this second half. Graham Canty. Donncha Walsh is the man who's marking him now. all the way down towards Goulding. We'll need a second attempt to try and get that, but Tom O'Sullivan seizes on it quickly before he's fouled by Daniel Goulding. Free to Kerry. This was the 45th free kick of the final, I'm told by our statsman Tim McCarthy, as we watch this ball carried forward here by Colin Cooper. Kerry now looking the calm team. That's Tomas O'Shea hits it, and Tomas O'Shea fires it over the bar. Kerry look to be firmly in command of the final. 4 between them. Jack O'Connor came back to win it once again. 2 shots from Tomas O'Shea, and he's fired over 2 points for Kerry. Invaluable scores.
Well, you can talk about fitness, you can talk about striking and conditioning, but you must have intelligence, and that time a beautiful execution of intelligence by Colin Cooper. Saw Tomas O'Shea running into space, give the ball to O'Shea, the rest you all saw.
6 attacks by Kerry in this second half, and they've taken 5 scores. That's a push in the back that time by Nicholas Murphy. And Cork are absolutely rocked once again. They had all those scoring opportunities in the opening 10 minutes in particular of the second half. But Jack O'Connor's team, well, they rode their luck a little bit, but now they have once again put themselves into a marvellous situation to win back the Sam Maguire Cup, won last year by Tyrone, of course, when they beat Kerry in the final as Tommy Walsh kicks that ball away.
I've certainly been impressed with this guy since he's come in on Cadigan. He's a good footballer. Okay, maybe Tommy Walsh has scored 2 points on him, but he seems to be much more solid as a defender than Kieran O'Connor was earlier.
Well, the free kick is going to be taken by Michael Shields. Well, now, can Cork produce some kind of rabbit out of a hat to try and win this final? Because they've had loads and loads of openings presented. They may need a goal. Nicholas Murphy there for Noel O'Leary, waiting for a support player. That's Donnacha O'Connor. Look at the number of Kerry players going back, prepared to put their lives on the line almost, ready to defend. Out to Paddy Kelly, still being forced backwards. This time it's Cooper back helping out. Everybody's back. Niskala forward for Kelly, got a great point in the first half, and this time under pressure he kicks it well to the right, and he kicks it badly wide, and it remains Kerry's 16 points. Cork 1 goal and 9. That's 16-12. 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, but
11 wides now in Old Martin for Cork.
Yeah, and we sometimes talk about the Kerry flair up front, but that quality of their defending has been absolutely wonderful. Now, I think Paul Galvin was involved in something late there and has got a yellow card, but just the way they're grouping in numbers and forcing Cork laterally is a real example as to how to defend properly.
Well, they've used their heads today and used all that experience that they have. People said it would be a factor, and I think that's the way it has been borne out. Here's Noel O'Leary fouled. Still about 8 minutes to go, and stoppage time as Donnacha O'Connor cuts inside. Still O'Connor, but again Kerry force him to hit it in quickly, and then at the back there are support players, and Tommy Griffin got there first to Tomas O'Shea, and Griffin again. Whatever about his tentative opening to the match, he has been one of the stars, along with Mark O'Shea here. And what can you say about Galvin? He's run his socks off.
Yeah, the one thing about them at the moment, there's nobody in the half-forward line making runs for the half-backs when they're coming over the balls, and that's what's causing those turnover. But just watch that bit of anticipation again by Griffin, who has really grown into the game as he's come on.
Well, James Masters has come on in place of Daniel Goulding, and that's 4 substitutions now made by the team management. O'Connor kicks it in. Gould gets there. We've lost to Goulding. We still have a Gould for Cork. He's on the ball too long, fell on it, didn't play it, and as he handled it on the ground, it's going to be a free to Kerry anyway. Tomas O'Shea ready to take it.
Early on I said in the second half that Cork were winning the 50-50 battles. Kerry now seem to be doing that.
Well, it's been a wonderful game in so many respects, because each team has had degrees of supremacy at certain times, and it's been a case of how well they used possession when they had that period of supremacy.
Yeah, an example once again there, the bold strength of Tommy Walsh that time, holding off Owen Cadigan again, running in a straight line along the tram lines, was able to hold them off. That's, typifies the way he's played today.
So possession for Kerry. Marty Duffy making the call. Paul Galvin getting forward to join the attack. Once again, it's Donaghy driving in on the baseline here. In difficulty back there, however, with Derek Kavanagh, his marker. Ball released as far as Graham Canty. Outside him is Alan O'Connor, trying to run through the heart of the Kerry defence now. It's Noel O'Leary. His team are 4 points behind in the All-Ireland final, and there are 6 minutes of action left. James Masters to crack one with his left and to put it wide. Another missed opportunity. Unbelievable.
Frustrating from a Cork point of view. They have got themselves into good goal scoring or point scoring up positions, but again, for whatever reason, they just haven't had the calmness or the poise to actually take the scores when they have presented themselves.
They've had 11 chances, Martin, in the second half alone. They've only taken 3 opportunities.
That's right. Well, the old dog for the hard road, it must be said. Kerry with the fewer opportunities, a bit more use of them.
Great catch. Cork doing really well. He's down injured. Tomas O'Shea has it. Beautifully in once again as far as Colm Cooper. Showing the necessary appetite in the second half in particular. Back to O'Shea. And Kerry will just use up the seconds, making certain that they don't just aimlessly kick the ball anywhere. It's an object lesson for other teams. Mike McCarthy, as I say it, he gave it away needlessly. And Cork have the opportunity of building. Derek Kavanagh slipped inside here as far as Miskela. Back to Kavanagh once again. Hitting it in towards Masters, his clubmate at Nemo Rangers. Comes bouncing back out towards Miskela again. Never saw him really as the running, driving force during this All-Ireland final from the half-back line. It's Donaghy O'Connor. Hit in dangerously, and again the goalkeeper collects it safely, and Diarmuid Murphy links up here with Seamus Scanlon, one of the unsung heroes in the middle of the park. Looks to be part of a winning combination for Kerry once again, but there is still some time. 5 minutes to go. 4 points the margin.
Yeah, but they're very much in control at the moment, and again they're being helped by the profligacy of the Cork attack, who have missed so many chances.
Michael Cosson's coming on, Alan O'Connor is going off, and Cork have now used their 5 subs. So Alan O'Connor makes his way, he's got a yellow card as well on his way off. And Michael Cosson on anyway, number 27. All 6'7" of him. So let's see what happens for the remaining 4 minutes of the 70. We're watching Colm Cooper, one of the great geniuses of Gaelic football, get this ball across here towards the star. Release back there towards Donaghy Walsh, didn't quite finish as he wanted. He'll have been disappointed not to start. That's the 6th wide of the match for Kerry. But overall, Kerry have soaked up the punishment on occasions, the pressure from Cork, ridden their luck because of Cork's very poor shooting, but now find themselves just trying to play down the clock, run it down with possession here in the hands of Tom O'Sullivan, and Kerry enjoying a 4-point lead.
They are, but again, I still think there's a goal in Cork, actually. I still think they're capable of a goal.
Tomas O'Shea. Again, making the passes count. Great movement to Killian Young. Kicked into space here, he didn't look up, and he gave it away to Cadigan. Canty now forcing it forward here to Miskela. Derek Kavanagh. As you say, Cork will need a goal if they're to make a real finish of this one. Donaghy O'Connor trying to turn this way and that. Look at the number of Kerry bodies back there. And again they deny Cork, and O'Connor fouled, and it's a free out for Mike McCarthy and for Kerry. There was no way through.
No, wonderful defending again. Players helping each other out, getting themselves around the Cork attackers in numbers. Again, fantastic defensive play. Just watch this, 2 or 3 of them not fouling. Again, Mike McCarthy eventually executing the turnover.
I noticed Tommy Walsh there coming off the Kerry team, and I noticed that Aidan O'Mahony is ready to go in. I'm not quite sure who they put in the last couple of minutes.
I say what Jack O'Connor is, he's going to play Aidan O'Mahony back. He's just going to try and crowd his defence. Again, if he just hopefully, from a Kerry point of view, not concede any goals.
David Moran, I think, has come in.
David Moran, yeah, I'm glad to see him coming in. I think it's overdue.
Yellow card for Tom O'Sullivan.
But I often wonder what it was like to be swallowed whole by an anaconda. But certainly I feel today Cork must feel somewhat like that. They're still alive, but they know they're choking.
And still they are struggling to beat Kerry in a major match at Croke Park. They've never beaten them here. That was Moran kicking it forward towards Donaghy. It runs on there for Alan Quirk. 2 minutes to go. Out as far as Michael Cosson. Nobody on him. Kerry almost inviting him to bring it forward, see what you can do. They need 2 scores at least to tie it. Kicked in by Masters. Huge one in, dangerously so, and collected here by Mark O'Shea. Calmness personified. Did enough, took it out well. Out once again towards Declan O'Sullivan. He's had a superb match. Whether as an attacking player or back helping out his defence, everything he's done has had a touch of class about it. Aidan O'Mahony's coming on for Killian Young. And now it's almost like they're coming on to share in what is a victory performance by Kerry in this All-Ireland final.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Aidan O'Mahony coming on. Been a great servant over a long period of time. An injury, maybe loss of form this year has kind of prevented him from making the starting lineup today. But again, deserves to get a run.
There'll be 2 minutes of stoppage time played, and we're very, very nearly into that now, as you can see. It's still Kerry's 16 points, Cork 1 goal and 9. His team have put on a really good performance. They benefited by virtue of Cork's very, very poor shooting, in particular in the second half. All those wasted opportunities. David Moran now sees that ball run away from him, and it'll be a line ball for Owen Cadigan and Cork. Kicked into Fintan Gould. Cork trying to add to their 3 points in this second half as down towards O'Connor. There looked to be a nudge by O'Connor that time, got away with it. Comes back out here towards Michael Cosson, the Glanmire player. Gets it back towards Noel O'Leary. They're finding it impossible to get through. Brilliant defending by Kerry. Kicked in the end there by Colm O'Neill, rather half-heartedly. A real hit and hope one in. Came off Donaghy O'Connor. Couldn't contain it. There's a minute left on the 120th All-Ireland football final, and you can see by the body language of Donaghy O'Connor that he realises the game is up, and that Kerry, with 21 scoring chances, 2 fewer than Cork, would look to have their hands on the Sam Maguire Cup once again.
Well, it's quite amazing. They were the league winners, they strung through the qualifiers. They should have been put out of their misery down in Tralee, but that innate survival instinct once again activated. Glorious against Dublin, functional against Meath, but damn good today.
Canty kicking it, huge one in. Opportunity here for Donaghy O'Connor to... that just about sums up his and Cork's afternoon from right in front of the goal. Conor Coonahan realises just wasn't his day.
It's quite amazing, Ger, actually. Again, you know, today they explored the depths of the spirits. Looks as if they've claimed their 36th All-Ireland, but that wild desire, you know, that sense of entitlement that they feel, it's theirs when they come up here to Croke Park. And, you know, where Tyrone today, their mindset would have been different. Against Cork, they simply believe.
Very few seconds left now. The referee blows his whistle. Kerry win the All-Ireland. Kerry are the All-Ireland champions. It's their 5th All-Ireland success this decade. Jack O'Connor came back, wanted to win it one more time, probably had Tyrone in his sights. It was Cork instead. They didn't beat them in the Munster Championship, but they've beaten them here in the big one, in the All-Ireland final itself. It's Kerry's 36th All-Ireland title. And once again, they get the measure of their great old rivals in Munster, Cork, in a game at Croke Park. And Colm Cooper finished the afternoon with 6 points. Ty Kennelly came back from Australia to emulate what his dad did and his brother Noel back in 2000. Look at the smile on his face. They'll be looking at these pictures all over Australia, I'm certain, as well, because Ty Kennelly has won the All-Ireland medal he wanted to win, to go with the Premiership medal he won back in 2005 with the Sydney Swans. You know, Cork 1 point from play in the second half, 2 points from frees. It simply wasn't good enough. and Ty Kennelly and Kerry can celebrate.
And they fully deserve it. And again, they deserve to be spoken of in the same breath as the Golden Boys and the boys from the 70s and 80s. They may lack the individual brilliance and the class and artistry, but the O'Shea's from Dingles, indeed all the Dingle contingent, the Border Boys, the lads from the Cork and the Limerick border, along with the lads from the south, they would have regarded defeat today to Cork as an aberration and something they wouldn't countenance. But it was their spirit today after an appalling start that was manifest. And again, Kennelly, Galvin, absolutely wonderful, I thought, when the game was in the fire, when the game had to be decided. And throughout, it was just that bit of experience, that little bit of being here so often, that ultimately, you know, gave them the victory that they thoroughly deserved.
Over the years, they've had the answer against Cork when it really, really mattered. I remember in 2007, people were saying, well, if Kerry lose to Cork in the All-Ireland final, what's that going to say for all the Munster Championship wins they had in Cork and in Killarney down the years? And today, there was a feeling that Cork couldn't possibly afford to lose it for themselves, but they have. And it was all those misses in the second half, you know, 14 wides, 10 in the second half alone. That is a horrible statistic.
Absolutely terrible. And again, it goes back to the whole thing. You peak in September.
The final score here, it's Kerry's 16 points, Cork 1 goal and 9. Kerry are the champions, and they are going to celebrate it, and well they might. You were talking about the zigzag road that they took to get here, Martin. You know, just thinking back, they really could have been beaten by Sligo.
Well, they should have been beaten by Sligo. Indeed, were it not for a wonderful save by Diarmuid Murphy from David Kelly late in that game, they would have won it. But think of Darragh O'Shea today in his 81st championship game, you know, going and winning, what is it, the 6th All-Ireland medal. Yep. Ty Kennelly, you know, coming home to get the Golden Fleece, forsaking a professional game to come back here. But every one of those lads, they were absolutely written off early in June. You know, a lot of people conveniently forgot that they were the league champions. They were shocking, I thought, in the qualifiers. But once we saw them against Dublin, we knew, hold on a minute, these guys have a kick and a spark left in them. And today, if anybody had any doubt, they saw that this is the team of the decade.
If I could mix my sports ever so slightly here, they remind me in a way of Italy when it comes to World Cup. They somehow crawl into the finals playing awful stuff in the qualifiers, and before you know it, they've gone off and they've won it.
Yeah, and I think we should mention Cork, actually. You know, they have a number of emerging tyros. I think they'll have a team for the future, a very, very good team indeed. And today's experience will be devastating, but at the same time, it's not something that should actually see the end of them. This should be a beginning for them, and I think myself, you will see a lot more of them in the future.
I've no doubt about that. There certainly is going to be a title in Cork, because they've got so many fine underage sides. They've won the All-Ireland Under-21 title twice in the last 3 years, and now it'll be Christy Cooney, a Cork man, who will hand over the Sam Maguire Cup in just a moment.
Yeah, but that one had to be as sweet as any one of them, I think, Gerard, because so many people had counted them off, you know, had written them off this year. And again, I'm just looking at the display of some of the lads there today. You know, Colin Cooper had a quiet game by his own standards. Tommy Walsh was outstanding. Declan O'Sullivan to me made all the difference in the first half. And the 3 half forwards really, you know, roasted the Cork half back line. And that to me was where the foundation was laid.
For a tremendously sporting game. I've no doubt Cork are bitterly disappointed. You've had a wonderful year, Cork, and you shouldn't be downhearted. I'm sure your day will come. But today belongs to the kingdom. Their 5th title in this decade, and they carry on a proud tradition of wonderful Kerry teams. I applaud you, your management and your county board and your clubs for your wonderful achievement in winning 5 All-Ireland titles in this decade. And now it gives me great pleasure to present them to a wonderful captain in Darragh O'Sullivan.
The most famous trophy in Irish sport is handed over to Darragh O'Sullivan. Sam Maguire goes back to Kerry. They are the winners for the 36th time. A wonderful final victory.
Úachtarán na hÉireann, úachtarán Cúbalú Clascéil, agus the Corda Galéir. Tá ná thorm an Cornshaw Glacha Arson Mutir Kerry. I can't put into words how much this means to me to stand here in front of such a fantastic group of players and an unbelievable management team, and just to look out at all these Kerry supporters. I just want to thank the sponsors, Kerry Group. They've been brilliant again to us this year. They never ever leave us wanting, and I hope our relationship continues for many more seasons to come. To our backroom team and medical team, I can't say enough for them. They bend over backwards for us, and we're always there, and they're always there waiting for us. No questions asked. And the management team, our two physical trainers, Alan O'Sullivan and Pat Flanagan. I just want to give Alan Sullivan a special mention because of the hard work he's done all year, especially with the injured fellas. I think Kieran Donnelly will tell you exactly how hard he worked to get Kieran back here now today. To our selectors, Gerald O'Keefe and Eamon Fitzmaurice, who put their lives on hold this year for this team because they had faith that we still had the ability to come back here this September. And to the man who put the management team together, and it was his belief that brought us through all the tough games this year. He never once questioned us. He always believed that we'd come here and we'd stick together. That man's Jack O'Connor. And to all the supporters, we made you travel far and wide this year, but you really did come out in numbers. And when we were struggling, you were the one pulling us over the line, so thanks very much. And I nearly forgot him. He's below smiling as usual, Pat Flanagan. Pat's been involved with us for a long time, and he's the only one that can keep me smiling at training anyway. On a personal level, I just want to say thank you to the Ulster Bank. They're one of the main sponsors this year, and my employers, and the work and the help they've given myself and Kieran Donnelly this year has been amazing. Cork, we were there last year, we know exactly how hard it is. But you've had a fantastic year. I think we just got the rub of the green today, but you can hold your heads up. You've been absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure your time will come in the future. 3 cheers for Cork. Hip hip. Hip hip. Ta Sam Ikchap Dualia.
Well, a great speech by Darren O'Sullivan from Glenblay, Glencar. Got the captaincy by virtue of Mid-Kerry winning the Kerry Championship last year, and he's here in the sunshine of Croke Park this afternoon to help lift the cup. There's Mark O'Shea. Tom O'Sullivan now from Rathmore, right on the Cork border, along with another colleague of his from the Gardaí, Aidan O'Mahony, there to lift it also. Pádraig Reedy didn't play today, but coming in to share in the glory. Tomas O'Shea, who lives in Douglas in Cork, and all the other subs, David Moran, who came on, and they will bring that cup back with them, back once again to the kingdom. It's their day.
It is indeed, and our thanks to Ger Canning and to Martin Carney in commentary this afternoon. Joe Brawley, Colin O'Rourke and Pat Spillane with me here on the panel, always doing the dance. Well, remember Tig did that when he won his medal with the Sydney Swans in Australia, and what an occasion it is for him. Brilliant to see. Paul Galvin played his part in this championship this year as well. Pat Spillane, congratulations to everybody from Kerry. What a journey it's been this summer.
Oh, it's been some journey. It's been a roller coaster ride, but you know, Michael, form is temporary, class is permanent, and at the end of the day, systems may come and systems may go. But like the Kilkenny hurlers, if you produce skillful players year in, year out, fill them with belief and get commitment, you know, the cream will always rise to the top. You know, it's time in Kerry now that they forget about the Mikey Sheehy's and the Pat Spillanes and the Bomber Listons, because we really have another team.
That's heresy. They'll never forget Pat Spillane.
We have a team of legends there, and in particular, can I just mention too, Ty Kennelly. I soldiered with his father for many, many years, and he'd be a proud man up there tonight.
There's no doubt he will. Colin O'Rourke, I'm sure you want to add your congratulations.
Yeah, well, Kerry just have a certain class which no other county, you know, Tyrone, to be fair to them, matched them and beat them in All Irelands. Otherwise, Kerry would have won everything for the last decade. But today there was a certain inevitability about it. In a very poor second half, I thought, Cork with plenty of possession, kicking wide after wide after wide, and then Kerry would come down and.
By the way, just Darragh O'Shea there lifting the cup. That may be the last time we see Darragh O'Shea lifting the cup.
Yeah, one of the greatest midfielders of all. And you have very rarely, I think, will you see ever again 3 players of the quality of the O'Sheas. And Darragh had a great game today, as did Tomas and Mark. We probably will never see 3 brothers like that again. And this man has probably been the footballer of the year. He's a certain eccentricity about him, but I'd love to have him on the Meath team because he does all that sort of dirty work around the middle of the field where he wins possession. But, you know, it was sort of death by 1,000 cuts for Cork in the second half. Miss after miss after miss, and then Kerry come down and get a few easy points.
Martin Carney put it very well, I thought as well. Joe Brawley, he talked about the anaconda syndrome. In the second half, they gradually were tightening the grip and squeezing the life out of them.
Cork were extremely disappointing in the sense that, you know, they accepted their fate from an early stage. You know, all of their key players disappeared. You know, I said after the semi-final that, you know, that Cork had done Kerry a tremendous favour, and in a way, when you were watching the game today, you know, there was a strong sense that Cork simply weren't at the level to compete with Kerry. I mean, after they'd had the opening burst and they went 5 points up, Kerry just, you know, bossed the game. And, you know, we were talking out there, we were agreeing that Kerry didn't even play anywhere near their best, and yet they cruised through the game.
Yeah, all right. He did the little dance. He's won an All-Ireland medal. Here's Kerry's Ty Kennelly. He's with Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. First of all, congratulations, Ty Kennelly. Today is some achievement for you personally. You've done what your dad did.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Very emotional, but great. Very, very happy. I can barely get the words out.
No, you're doing great, and thank you for doing this, because I know it is emotional, but I know you've also already met your mom, Nuala.
Yeah, just met her there. Very, very emotional. So great day for her. Been through a lot, and I'm very, very happy. Put a lot of work, I suppose, leaving in the first place 10 years ago, and I thought I would be here well before now at the age of 28, but very, very lucky to come back my first year and to reach an All-Ireland final and to go through what we did. And personally, look, like I said, the years haven't been too easy over there.
But tied to win the Premiership in 2005 and then to win an All-Ireland in 2009, I mean, it is a unique and fantastic achievement. You must be so proud.
Yeah, I am. Look, I haven't thought about it. Look, Marty, it hasn't really sunk in. Look, I've just been thinking about my father, really, to tell you the truth. So it's good. I'm very, very happy man.
Right throughout the game, particularly when Cork started so brilliantly, they were up, I think, 4 or 5 points at one stage. Were you concerned at any stage?
Not at all. Look, we talked about it before the game. Cork are going to come at us, and we had a plan. And Darragh O'Shea said it numerous occasions throughout the week, and Jack were saying, you know, look, we've got a plan. We stick to it, and no matter what happens throughout the game, if we go goal down, 2 goals down, and that's what happened. You know, we went 4 points down, and we ended up being 3 points up at half time. So it's a great character of the team. You stick to the plan, you stick to what you know, and look, there's great experience and a great bunch of lads out there. There's an awful lot thrown at them, and look, they were knocked so much throughout the years, and knocked again this year. And to do what we have is absolutely unbelievable.
A lot of people would be surprised that you actually came off because you were playing so brilliantly.
Tash Jack. No, look, I think I had spent my money. I wasn't going to leave anything in the tank, and you can't afford on a player like Graham Kenty. Look, if I went into the game thinking I was going to try and save my legs, Graham, really soaked me up in the first 20 minutes. So I just played my heart out as long as I could, and I was quite happy. I did my day's work, and Dunikes came on and did his work, and we've got a lot of bunch of stars that came on that were great.
Well, thank you, Kennelly. I know today is a very important day for you and the Kennelly family, and I know Dad is smiling from heaven. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
He is indeed. Tig was very proud of his dad, I know that, and his dad was very proud of Tig as well. Colin O'Rourke, from the early moments of this match, from the first, say, 10 or 15 minutes, it was Kerry's day all day.
Oh, yeah. It certainly was, after 10 minutes, the good thing was the Cork got the early scores and they made a game of it. But after that, Kerry strangled them for possession, and they put out all the Cork players who probably they were slightly concerned about. Like Tig Kennelly ran all over Graham Canty from early on. I was actually surprised that he was taken off. I thought he was nearly the man of the match. Maybe Tom Sullivan who had a fantastic game, and he put out Daniel Goulding out of the game. Mark O'Shea strangled Donnacha O'Connor. Eventually Tommy Griffin got to grips with Colin O'Neill, and all the sort of individual battles went Kerry's way, and that was without the Gooch playing anything near his form. And of course then they had an array of subs to bring on: Aidan O'Mahony, David Moran, continuing the trend of great players, sons of great players, and Kieran Donaghy. So like Kerry had the bench as well, just to tighten things for the last 15 minutes when they needed to.
No controversial penalties in the match today. Should be an easier day for Marty Morrissey with the winning manager, Jack O'Connor.
Thanks a million for that introduction, Michael. Yes, Jack O'Connor, congratulations first of all. Let me shake your hand. That is some achievement considering the journey you've experienced.
Thanks, Marty. It's been a great journey, long rocky road. The evening that we escaped below Tralee against Sligo by a point, where Diarmuid saved the penalty there with 2 or 3 minutes to go. You wouldn't give us much chance that evening, but deep down we felt if we hung in there, that the Lord would reward us, and we turned the corner, and I think we did. So just delighted now, Marty.
Let me just go back to the start, because you conceded a goal and a point. A lot of managers might have changed their full back at that stage, but you had tremendous faith in Tommy Griffin, hadn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, any fella can make a mistake, and Tommy slipped for the goal, and that wasn't down to anything in particular. It was just maybe he got caught in the turn. But Tommy Griffin has solved a big problem for us all the year. We weren't going to throw in the towel with him, and he thundered into the game after that. And we didn't want to switch Mike Mack out of centre back because he was doing very well there as well. But to recover from 5 down, we were something like 1-3 to a point down, and to go 3 up, then that took huge colours.
At any stage were you concerned? I mean, when you were 5 points down, did you think, God, this thing is going against us?
Yeah, of course you are. But look, Marty, these fellas are great battlers. Their heart and their character and everything else was questioned all the year. But we have great faith in these fellas. We've battled through many a tough day, and we said that before the game. We had hard, tough games this year. Even in the league above Anoma, we had a tough game there, the league in Parnell Park, and we were able to draw on all those. We felt that Cork hadn't been in a battle all the year, and if it came down to a battle, that we had the advantage there.
I know back a couple of years ago you brought in Starr into full forward as a masterstroke. This year, I think when we get to Christmas, they'll be analysing. Bringing back Mike McCarthy was very important, wasn't it, Jack? It kind of changed the whole shape of the Kerry team.
Well, it did, and it changed the dynamics at the back, because Mike is a great footballer, and I think he's glad now he made the decision. It took a bit of persuading, but he just gave us great unity back there, and it was him more than anyone in that game against Antrim, the second half of that game against Antrim, that turned the tide for us. And I said that in the dressing room, that we needed, he led us that day, and we needed more leaders now. Look, Marty, it just hasn't sunk in yet. It's a great feeling out there on the pitch with Kerry men and women going wild. It's just a great feeling.
The O'Connor household, let me bring you to that, because there are, if I'm not mistaken, 3 All-Ireland medals going in there in terms of what you've done and what the family have done.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a great year, Marty. My oldest son here, Cian, Valentine's Day here in Croke Park, won an All-Ireland Intermediate medal with St Michael's Five-More. Yeah, and I won a Hogan Cup medal with Kalashnikov again, and this caps it off today.
Well done. You've done a fantastic job with Kerry. Well done, Jack O'Connor. Well done.
He has indeed, and I know that Pat Spillane, you want to add your compliments.
Well, I do. I'd like to add my congratulations to Jack. I shared a good few pints with Jack a couple of days after the Cork match this year, and Jack was still convinced, and I thought he was off his rocker, that Kerry would come back and win an All-Ireland. But you know, two things that stuck with me that day. He talked about Cork, and he said, he says, you stop them building up from the attack, he says, and I can tell you this, he says, every one of their forwards, he says as well, are markable. There's no Stephen O'Neill's, there's no Peter Canavas, there's no geniuses of forward line. And I mean, look, it's some record. He's won the league, he's won the championship, and he also managed the colleges,
that's right,
Colossian and Skellige, to win the All-Ireland. Do you know what I mean? He's a man that, you know, we talk about other coaches as being very astute tacticians and coaches. I mean, this guy is up there with the very best of them.
He is, you can't argue with the facts. Joe Bradley, you want to make a point about Kerry as well?
No, just that, you know, they're, you know, as we said before the game, they're a much better prepared team. Now, that's the best prepared Kerry team I've seen. You know, you know, one way of looking at the Meath match was, well, look, they laboured through it, but it was a very ruthless job that they did, and there was never any sense that Meath could win it. Again, today, you know, I mean, Kerry were coming here over in the last 5 or 6 years, and they were dependent on Cooper and Starr to win the games, you know, with scoring bursts.
Yes.
Today they didn't need anything like that, because they understand the method. Now, a very interesting thing, myself and Tohal were saying, look at Kerry in the last 15 minutes when they were 4 points up. Everybody was back in the defence. They've learned a lot, and, you know, Jack has absorbed a lot as a coach, and, you know, I suppose we'll just have to wait until next year now to see Jack and Mickey Hart together again, you know, because it looks as though, I disagree with the notion that that's the end of that Kerry team. I think that there's a huge amount of football left in them, and you can see just the effortless way that they won that, and there's a lot more in them. And also, if you look at Tyrone, you think, well, look, there's a lot more football there as well. And
okay, let's get the thoughts of the Cork manager. That, of course, is Conor Coonahan. He's now with Marty.
Conor Coonahan, thank you very much for joining us. Commiserations. Just it didn't work out for you today, sure didn't?
Yeah, no, as I said earlier, you know, you get 70 minutes to perform, and you've got to perform over the 70 minutes. We probably started that game reasonably well, maybe took our leg off the pedal, and, you know, in fairness to Kerry, they stuck in there, got the scores, and, you know, in the second half maybe we had a few chances to come back and claw back. We'd possibly be a bit disappointed without that, but as I said at the outset, it's about playing for 70 minutes, and, you know, to be fair to Kerry, they were true champions on the day.
You got at the start really that you needed. You were up 5 points after about 10 minutes. Were you reasonably confident at that stage?
Well, I suppose we did, but, you know, as I said, it's about 70 minutes, and, you know, maybe we felt that, you know, things are going our way, this is going to happen, and all of a sudden you take your eye off the ball, and all of a sudden Kerry are back, and, you know, not a low level, but maybe getting 2 points in at half time.
There was a lot of talk pre-match about the referee, and today it just seemed that Cork found it difficult to get frees off Marty Duffy. What were your thoughts?
Look, I haven't commented on referees' performances throughout the year, and I'm not going to start today, so I think the pundits can earn their crust by commenting there.
14 wides today, Conor. It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't realise it was quite that much it was, but, you know, I think some of those were pretty bad ones. We'll be disappointed about it, but look, I'm very proud of each and every one of our players in the squad at 38. You know, I'm not going to stand here and criticise them now. We went out there at 3:30 today. I'm very proud of them. I'm as proud of them now.
And Conor, you know, you have a very young team, obviously. I know this is a heartbreaking moment for all of you, and will be for the next couple of weeks. But this is a young team that can bounce back.
Yeah, you know, I mean, in terms of the bounce is pretty dead at the minute. I think, look, we'll move on tonight. We'll stick together over the next few days, and, you know, look, let the future look after itself.
Conor Coonahan, you did a great job in getting them here. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, thanks to Conor Coonahan, not just for that interview, but indeed for his assistance all through the summer. It's time for another short break. More match reaction and analysis to come. Well, the sport continues unabated here on RTE television, just in case you think we're going on the beer for the rest of the year or anything like that. Here at Croke Park, Kerry are enjoying the celebrations, having won the 2009 All-Ireland football final. This afternoon it finished. Kerry 16 points, Cork 1 goal and 9 points. Now, before we look back at the game, let me remind you of our fantastic prize that we have on offer for you. RTE Sport and Ulster Bank, the official sponsor of the Football Championship, have joined forces to offer you a unique opportunity to enjoy the sights and the sounds of New York City and the passion and the pride of the Football Championship at the same time. Now, this prize for two includes return flights to New York, 4 nights accommodation in a 4-star Manhattan hotel, and tickets to see New York's first game in next year's championship, which will be next May. You'll also receive $5,000 to spend while you're over there. To enter, all you have to do is correctly answer the following question. Sam Maguire, after whom the famous trophy is named, was a native of which county? Was it Galway, Derry or Cork? To enter, call 1515 717 184 with your selection. You can also text football, followed by your answer and your contact details to 57111. The number to call from Northern Ireland is 0901 293 0231. And viewers in Northern Ireland can also text their entries to 57111. For more details and terms and conditions, you can go to Airtel page or 194. Lines remain open until 11 o'clock tonight. You must be 18 years or over to enter, and we'll announce the winner towards the end of the evening edition of the Sunday game tonight. Let's hear from the Kerry captain, Darren O'Sullivan. He's with Marty.
Darren O'Sullivan, captain of the All-Ireland winning team. It has a nice rhyme about it, doesn't it?
Nice sound to that now, all right.
Tell me about this journey, because at times, Darren, let's go back to the early rounds of the championship, you looked like you were going to be beaten, particularly against Sligo.
Yeah, I think Murph saved us now in the Sligo game, but the one thing we've done more than any other year now is we really dug deep together. And you know, we mightn't have won games pretty like a lot of people wanted to watch us, but we showed a different side to a game in a lot of games this year. Like, we dug deep, and I think today was another one of them days we just worked our socks off. Everyone worked for each other, and you know what, I'm just so happy. I'd rather win like that than winning fancy any day.
Was it experience? Was that the vital factor, do you think?
I think it was there. Like, Cork got off to a great start, but we just kept plugging away. We kept to our game plan, kept tipping away points. We got the lead and we were able to hold on to it. You know, Cork made a couple of fight backs there, and as we knew they would. But bit of experience, you know, Colin coming out the field, getting on ball, Dara slowing it down or speeding up whenever it needed to be. Paul Galvin, I don't think there was any bit of grass he didn't cover. He was absolutely brilliant. And you know, that bit of experience I think really helped us. And then the subs coming in, like, you know, I don't think there's any bench in the country like that, and just the quality we had on the bench was what pulled us over the line.
On a personal level, not only it's great to be on the team, but also to be captain. And Glencar, I'm sure, will be a hive of activity this week.
Yeah, I'd say Glenbay's hopping right about now, so I'm looking forward to going back now and back down to Ash's Bar now, because I have a lot of friends back there now, and they'll be very proud back there now, and I'm really looking forward to getting back there Tuesday night.
Well, enjoy. Well done. Thanks, Darren.
He will indeed, and I'm sure they're enjoying all that down, as Marty said, down in Glenbeigh. Colin O'Rourke, Tommy Walsh started this match today, scored a couple of very vital points, particularly in the second half. Points that put Kerry, at a time when Cork were getting close to them, opened up the gap again.
Yeah, and it's funny, Tommy was taken off against Dublin, only came on as a sub against Meath, right, and proved, you know, one of the most important players, if not the most important. Now, Gooch was very quiet, but a few touches like that, Tommy Walsh left foot over the bar, a big high kick, impossible to stop that. And the thing about Tommy Walsh was that every time he got possession today, you sort of smelt a bit of danger from him. And again, hands off, loops around, left foot again, and kicked his first half point with his left foot.
It's extremely difficult to block, because he's kicking over the block all the time. And you know, I said before the match that he could be the match, and you know, although he wasn't required, if you know what I mean, because Kerry were so superior, but nonetheless he had a superb match and he has great confidence. And I mean, he is a monster. See, when you meet him, gee, I mean, he's a huge man.
But Kerry responded all the time when Cork put on a bit of pressure. Like, Kerry played their best football the first half when they had to, when they went 5 down. Then Cork responded the second half. They got to within a point with a score from Daniel Goulding, and then we saw the best of Kerry again. But every time they got 3 and 4 in front, they just sat back. But they are a different animal than last year with Mike McCarthy, Tadhg Kennelly and Paul Galvin. A much better side.
Tadhg particularly, I mean, Tadhg Kennelly dominated the first 25 minutes. His work around the middle of the field, he broke Graham Canty. Canty was eventually taken into corner back.
His work rate in the semi-final was huge as well.
But look, you know, and a genuine star. I mean, and consider that he's just back in the game. I saw him against Derry in the first match in the National League up in Balahi, and the crowd were laughing when he came on. I mean, the first 3 or 4 balls he got, he kicked a couple of terrible wides, and everybody was laughing. Somebody said, "Go back to Australia," type of thing. And I mean, look at the transformation. Look at his engine, his ability, and what a terrific lad he is. And apparently he's got a shack on Bondi Beach and a glamorous Australian girlfriend. I mean, are there no chinks in his armour?
Well, do you know what you saw in the second half, Michael? What Kerry had in abundance and what Cork didn't have was composure and belief and leadership. And great teams always have that, you know. And you saw, we talked about Kerry's game plan, and Tide was saying, you know, Kerry stuck to that game plan. Even when things were going badly, they always stuck to it. They took the right options. And there's so many leaders on the field. Cork have less leaders. The Canty, Nicholas Murphy, 2 or 3 leaders. And unfortunately today, the leaders were in trouble and they weren't able to inspire.
There's another
they
thing,
weren't
Colin,
able to
that
lead.
went against Cork today, particularly in that second half, their ability to see where the posts were.
Oh yeah, their shooting was terrible, and I suppose it has to be. Yeah, there was no real penetration because Cork, what they're lacking is a real top quality forward. Like Kerry have somebody to take over, even when Gooch was quiet today. That's all Cork are missing. Somebody that's able to kick 3 or 4 or 5 points from play every day, because they just don't have that quality. And you know, when it comes down to it, we talk about systems and everything else, but Kerry have better individual players than Cork.
But hold on, Colin, we've been through this before, and we've seen Tyrone beating superior Kerry teams over the years. I mean, you look at that Kerry team today, every shot that Cork took was from distance, under pressure. There's a very slim margin for error, and as the game goes on and you become more tired, and you're having to snap shoot from 50 metres out from the sidelines, it becomes very, very difficult. Seamus Scanlon was always beside his centre half back. You know, there was never any room through the centre of the defence.
We saw 2 or 3 instances of little handy frees being missed. I mean, that's a lack of composure. That's panic.
I suppose the bottom line is it wasn't Cork's day. Well, it has been a long day here at Cork Park, but it's been a successful one for the minor footballers of Armagh and, of course, for the seniors of Kerry, the All-Ireland champions of 2009. My thanks to Joe Brolly, to Colin Burke and to Pat Spillane for their contribution on our Sunday game panel all summer, indeed. Hopefully I will see you a little bit later on this evening as we meet up again with the All-Ireland football champions and their victory banquet. In the meantime, take care.
Still trying to find out. I'm trying to find out what you know. SCC, SCC, SCCRET, SCC, SCC, SCCRET. Don't tell me it's a lie. Don't tell me it's not dead. These shadows at my feet are vultures overhead. SCC, SCC, SCC.
Ireland football finalists favourites on form, but with a question mark as to whether they could overcome the psychological barrier of beating Kerry when it mattered. Kerry came with question marks too over their enduring ability, but true to form, the Kingdom saved their best for September.
There were many question marks hanging over both sides going into today's All-Ireland football final at Croke Park. Would Cork display the dominance and power that helped them see off defending champions Tyrone in the semi-final? And did Kerry have the hunger and drive to gain revenge on their great rivals after defeat in the Munster final? Tadhg Kennelly might consider himself fortunate to have stayed on the pitch after an early elbow on Nicholas Murphy. The Kerry half-forward received a yellow card, but then opened the scoring with a fine point.
The scores, gets away from the would-be challenge, hits it in very confidently and puts it over the bar.
After that, it was all Cork. Points from Colm O'Neill and Paddy Kelly followed before O'Neill got his first sniff of a goal chance in the 10th minute.
Oh, O'Neill's after it. Oh, what a goal by Colm O'Neill! 10 minutes are gone. It's the opening goal of the game.
Kerry were down, but certainly not out. They regrouped and created chances for their full forward line, Colin Cooper and Tommy Walsh leading the fight back. And it was the Kingdom who led by 3 at the break. Cork with no answer to the Kerry charge.
This 5th one can produce, it produces another one for Tommy Walsh. and Tommy Walsh gets 2 in a row.
The Rebels needed scores in the second half, but they just couldn't hit the target. Chances came their way, but points eluded them.
Cork need a score. Can he provide it? He's kicked it, and he's kicked it to the right of the target again, and another one has gone astray.
Kerry, on the other hand, were as clinical as ever and always in control. Diarmuid Murphy kept out Cork's best goal chance, and after that, the result was never in doubt. Sam Maguire goes back to Kerry. Cork are left to ponder what might have been. Hugh Cal, RT News.
Look at the smile on his face.
Just a 4-point margin of victory, but the inevitable gulf between elation and dejection.
We're delighted. You know, it was great to beat Cork. Get one back, do you know what I mean?
Does it make it all the sweeter that it's neighbours?
Definitely that it's Cork. Definitely that it's our neighbours. Like, we're delighted.
The disappointing part was that we had a lot of possession, you know, at vital stages during the game, and I think, unfortunately, maybe some of it was wasted. It didn't go our way.
They've had tough times on the field, and there've been plenty of doubters. I think all the doubters are put to bed today.
It was a season that blew hot and cold for the eventual champions. If ever there was a case for throwing the form book out the window, those involved in today's final became the latest advocates.
It was because we stuck to the plan, no one panicked, and that comes with experience, and that comes with players out there that are able to just stay relaxed, stay cool. They realise it's a long game, it's long 70 minutes, and I realised how long an All-Ireland final is out there. About 15 minutes to go and my legs are gone.
We really gave it a lash. We prepared really well for this match. Left no stone unturned, and I suppose fellas go out, give as honest an effort as they can, and you hope it's good enough. We thought it would be good enough, but just wasn't to be.
You can always talk about performance, but you know, your performance is affected by how the other team plays. Yeah, I'd like to felt that we could have played better, but you know, we didn't, and we have to accept that.
We're just getting great pleasure out of this one because we kind of jigged the team around, and we brought likes of Mike Mack back centre back and Tommy Griffin full back. We really had to dismantle the team and then rebuild it as the year went on. So, you know, I suppose as a rebuilding job, we did a good job while we were still trying to win games during the year, and there's great satisfaction in that.
So just how did the team written off by so many come so good at just the right time? And what happened to the much vaunted Cork challenge? Well, our Gaelic Games correspondent Jonathan Mullen has been reflecting on a remarkable win.
Kerry is a county renowned for its appreciation of the aesthetics, be it the natural contours of its terrain or the perpetual grace of its footballers. But today's All-Ireland football final victory was less about beauty and more about the beast. It was a day when the unsung were celebrated, synopsised, if you like, by Martin Carney's description of Paul Galvin after his toil set up a first-half point for Ty Kennelly.
Yeah, but the hod carrier it was who got the ball from that time, Paul Galvin, a wonderful assist.
Just seems to me, looking at Paul Galvin this year, that he's trying to make up for the lost year last year.
Galvin shone as bright as anyone at a time this summer when the dark clouds followed Kerry through the qualifiers. But today he had plenty of help in the engine room as Kerry's background boys proved more than willing to shovel some coal. Tommy Griffin may have slipped in the lead up to the only goal of the match, but he was foot perfect for the rest of the game. Tom O'Sullivan riding shotgun with a performance that rolled back the years. Seamus Scanlon's Kerry career has become the living embodiment of the ugly duckling, and luring Mike McCarthy back has helped too. Released from the shackles of the number 3 jersey, he again proved how premature his retirement really was. With their noses in front but their legs beginning to wobble, Kerry's second half rearguard action needed to be executed perfectly, and there's rarely a more timely intervention than that of Mark O'Shea's. At a time when Cork had steamrolled their way back to within a point, O'Shea's block on Donncha O'Connor was the catalyst for a score from Tommy Walsh. The wrenched open a 2-point lead once again and had the Kerry wagon face for home. This Kerry team's glamour may be fading, but the rest of the country will scarcely be heartened to hear that the Kingdom have learned that winning ugly can be just as beautiful. Jonathan Mullen, RT News, Croke Park.
Earlier in the day, Armagh claimed the minor title with a 3 points win over Mayo, 10 points to 7 in a disappointing...
That is a fact. But it wasn't always like that, was it? Bhí trá on mar dearcha fear fada.
Ní bheith riamh bhí cuiblinn gona iad Kerry agus Corcaig nuair bhí mí sé gimar gona chéile ach in niran lé nuair bhín cluthe hart sinna bhí ann.
Yes.
Some of my best friends are Cork people.
Aren't you great?
But Grania, but just to give that a context, when Paddy says you're a town Clither Heart,
Yes.
Dinny, you'll get your version to answer this as well. But can I remind the audience of a match, Fado, if this incident occurred in the modern-day Sunday game, the in-depth analysis of it would have you both suspended for 9 months. Can we see... this is Cork and Kerry. I'm not sure of the year.
1975 or something?
1975. Good God, half you weren't born there. And this is the sprightly Dinny and Paddy. Let's have a look at it.
And there's Donald Hunt, number 17 on his back, just in a few minutes as a sub at cornerback. Dennis Allen, and Dennis throws a punch there and then gets a belt back in the face. And I suppose in the tension of a Munster final, with the rain we've had here today and the conditions, that can be expected, although not excused. And there's the shake hands.
I have to point... It's like dancing. I should point out now, Paddy, we saw the second one, but Dinny, that was a fair elbow back. What was the prelude to that?
Oh, well, Paddy will tell you that story, but I just want to know who hit the referee there.
He was a patient, and maybe he made the right decision. There was no more trouble after that, was there?
Not really, no.
Not really.
And never since.
Never since.
What was the story behind that, Paddy? Because it's very dramatic, as Des said. If it happened nowadays, it'd keep the papers going for a very long time.
What people don't really realise about this man is that Dinny Allen is a very special player in that not alone did he play football, he also played hurling, he played soccer, and any game that he would actually take up, I'd say he would be quite good at it.